Oh man, Lex Luger, our boy,
Yeah.
inducted into the Hall of Fame, finally deserved, and he might stand for it. I think he's probably going to stand for his speech, right? Since he's been working on that.
He's still got like a little bit over a month, like a month and a week, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think he might be able to.
Yeah. Guys, welcome to another edition of Getting Some Color. We are doing WCW Nitro and WWF Monday Night Raw, November 13th, 1995. And then we're going to also be covering the Survivor Series in the home capital with fucking Bill Clinton again. We'll get to that. So let's get into WCW Nitro because they're always first. We have Eric Bischoff, Steve McMichael, and Pepe as Super Dog, I guess, whatever.
He's a super dog.
Yeah, and Bobby Heenan on commentary once again. They are taped in Jacksonville, Florida. WCW talent went to Japan for a series of shows for their New Japan thing. That's what they've been teasing based off of what I've been researching on that. And then it goes into Hulk Hogan's promo.
Oh yeah. He's like in a cemetery and it's like foggy and there's like a fake rat, some kind of mechanical fake rat laid on top of a tombstone twitching or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't notice that till I watched it the second time. Like not the whole episode, just I watched that segment again for some reason. I can't remember why. And he's like, it starts with him like growling, like he's like the Ultimate Warrior or something. He's like, like the camera just pans over to him, and he's like in a cloak, and he's wearing like a weird mask.
Yeah, I wrote some notes down. He speaks how Randy Savage will bring him Meng's head, like Meng is John the Baptist. I go, okay. And then like Hogan adds that Sting might be a foe now that he is aligning himself with Lex Luger. Which, how do you like? He's not aligning. Like the whole time, Sting is like, "Hey, dude, I consider you a friend, but I don't know what's going on." So like I don't know how he like thinks Sting is a foe in some way.
I think it's because Lex Luger's association with the Dungeon of Doom.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Hulk Hogan warns Sting that if he sides with Dungeon of Doom, then he will become his number one target, which essentially down the road in the show we get an answer.
He says this hilarious line too. He's like, I don't know if Sting falls on the light side or the dark side of Hulkamania, but somewhere I'm gonna look Sting somewhere in the eye, somewhere down the line, like somewhere in the eye. What the fuck?
He was trying to be all like very Shakespeare with it because he has that like fucking mask on. It just made him look silly, dude. Like,
yeah.
We laughed about the promo with the homeless dude, but at least he was still like in his like commando getup, right?
Yeah, he was still like Hollywood Hogan light. Not quite there. Like
it's like stick with that. Like I know you lost with that essentially, or like got beat up, but at the same time, just this is not it. Like I don't know what to say, but it's funny. It's entertaining because I'm like I like this dude is just a douchebag. Like he's not selling me as this guy who's possessed in some way. He just looks like a dude like I'm afraid to turn heel, but I'm gonna act all dark. It's like a goth. It's like someone in school dressing up goth, just trying to fit with the goth people, and is not goth at all.
This is Hogan's goth emo phase.
Mm-hmm.
Before he really finds himself later, like when he was the third man, that's when he found himself. Because that's the real Hogan.
Yeah, essentially that's he's playing himself.
Go figure it that when he becomes his real self, that's when he gets the most over again.
Yeah. And he gets the most power.
He also had like a sword for some reason, and he also, I noticed this too the second time I watched it back. He had like all these weird black marks like all over his face and his neck. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Is that like the darkness spreading over his skin or something?
I thought it was like him trying to hide his beard growing in, essentially.
I thought it was like the corruption. Maybe I was overthinking it. Like,
I think you were overthinking it.
When he took the head, remember when his bandana came off and he had like the drawings like on the Taskmaster's head? He had that because he was turning evil.
Mm-hmm.
That's what their explanation to that was.
Maybe. I don't know. I guess we'll see, but
it's whack.
Yeah, it's whack. It was a stupid thing to like start off with. I think I would have like dig the whole when Jimmy Hart and them are in the ring talking to fucking Mean Gene. I would rather have that in the beginning than this fucking promo that Hulk. And it's not because I dislike Hulk Hogan now. It's like it's just not good. It's like really bad, and we all know what he becomes later, and I think that's what kind of annoys me. Is like if he's afraid to go heel, and I think he was afraid to go heel in NWO essentially, right?
He was. He had to be convinced about it. He tries to sell it like, "Oh no, brother, I saw the opportunity." No, when Nash and Hall tell that story, they had to convince him to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but like, we're not shitting on Hogan because he's fucking controversial and shit now. It's because it's just this sucks. Nobody thought this was good even back then. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Very few people fucking defend this stuff.
Yeah. But like Hogan says that Randy Savage is going to bring Meng's head like John the Baptist. And that's our first match, Randy Savage versus Meng. Still affiliated Meng with the Dungeon of Doom, essentially, I guess.
Dungeon of Doom affiliate, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because Jimmy Hart and Kevin Sullivan are with Meng. And I'll let you take away with the play-by-play.
Well, there wasn't much to this one. Like, Ming comes in, he does his entrance, and then Savage's entrance starts. And then the music's played, and there's like he's not coming out, and everybody's like, where is he? The hell. And then, like, you see him, he jumps the barricade when it goes back to, like, the hard camera. And he, like, slides in the ring, and he jump starts it. He, like, attacks Ming from behind. And then
he Pearl Harbors him.
Pearl Harbored him.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's just a brawl after that. Like they're fighting on the outside, and Savage has like the advantage up until like Ming takes over with like some strikes and shit.
Mm-hmm.
He does like martial arts chops in the corner. He does like the stance, and then he goes like like this shit. And then
it looks like it hurts.
Oh yeah, his chops probably did hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's hard to make a chop not hurt, though. It's kind of almost like a shoot strike, really.
Yeah.
And then he's doing kicks, and he did a body slam, and then Ming went to the top rope, and he tried to do a splash, which that's not normal for him to go to the top rope.
Mm-hmm.
He misses. And then Savage hits Ming, and he does a body slam, and then he goes to the top rope and hits elbow drop, and he pins him. It's like the whole match, really.
Why? You think they should have went longer?
Yeah, I was a little disappointed this match didn't go as long. I was like kind of looking forward to this. I'm like, oh, cool, Ming's going to fight Savage, and like this could be fun. And then it ended really quickly.
Yeah, that was the only thing I was disappointed about because I did like the brawl in the beginning because they're both totally two intense people, Meng and Savage. Meng in a way that like he's actually a fucking crazy dude, and Macho Man who's
also
a character. Yeah, also a crazy dude. So like I was like actually hyped for this match, and it was kind of like essentially something that you would build to a pay-per-view, which we know that's not going to happen unless it is. I don't know. Maybe World War III, they're going to have a match. I don't know.
Who knows if there's going to be enough time for that?
Yeah, there's 60 fucking people in 3 rings. Ugh. Uh,
What'd you score this one?
I gave it a nice 6 out of 10. Because it was good, but I wouldn't like fucking put it out there as like amazing. It was just great to see these two guys. They needed more time.
I gave it a 5.7. I thought it was all right, just not what I was hoping for.
Hmm.
Then there's like a little afterbirth after that's over.
Yeah, they're doing the whole Dungeon of Doom coming out and saving Mang because he's affiliated. Shark Attack Savage. And then Lex Luger fucking destroys the fucking Savage's arm. Just Lex like screaming before he fucking throws Savage's arm into the turbo.
He puts all of his power into his strikes. That's how he does. He goes, oh, and he like throws his arm into the pole.
Yeah. Then we get Uncle Chris, the guy who served in, that poor guy's uncle that Gina Carano had to say RIP to. If anybody wanted context on the wrestling Facebook group that we did, there was a screenshot of like a dude being like, "Hey, my uncle served, and he, passed away or something like that." And it was a picture of Chris Benoit in like an army helmet, and then Gina Carano was like RIP to his uncle.
Apparently, a few people use that as a joke to mess with people.
They stole my gimmick.
They stole your gimmick.
Yeah. Chris Benoit versus Kensuke Sasaki. I gotta like bring this up. Why like Japanese wrestler in the 90s? They all feel like they come out of Tekken. They dress like Tekken characters.
They kind of do. I mean, they've always had, up to really, no, they didn't really have loud attires back then. They started having like more loud expression filled attires, I guess, in the 90s. Because that's also like Jushin Liger. I think he started in the late 80s, and that guy's just like a total gimmick. But then you had Muda too.
Yeah.
And I don't really know that there was like really loud gimmick Japanese wrestlers unless you count the what's his name? The guy that he did the mist before everybody else. I forgot his name now. He had the Great Kabuki. He had kind of like a crazy mask, and he had like face paint too. And it seemed like in the 90s everybody started having more creative outfits from Japan instead of just like everybody looked almost like a created wrestler in Japan. They were just like a Japanese guy in trunks and boots.
Yeah, this guy had like fire like trunks, and he had a leather jacket, and I was like, is he trying to be like Paul from fucking Tekken? I mean, I know he doesn't have the hair and he's not white or anything, but he's also a little chunky. But at the same time, I'm like, he's trying to be all cool, like very greaser, like essentially.
That was in. That was an in thing back then. A little bit. It might have been dying out at that point, but I was like, oh, here's another Japanese guy, and then Chris tries to jumpstart that match with a punch. That doesn't work though. Sasaki like hits him a few times, and he hits a clothesline, and then he controls the whole match pretty much with different big moves. Suplex, power slam. And then there's like a couple of blown spots I noticed where I think he tried to like press slam Benoit, and he like almost lost him. And kind of was able to turn it into like a power slam. And then there was another time where I think he was supposed to do the knee to the gut. Some people call that a kitchen sink, when you whip the guy in the ropes and then you run and knee him in the gut and they do like the flip. It looked like he didn't know, Benoit didn't know that's what he was going to do, and it looked all awkward. He just kind of kneed him in the gut and he collapsed.
There might have been a language barrier or something. No communication.
Yeah, which I think's weird because Benoit spent time in Japan. You'd think he would speak Japanese, but I don't know.
No, I think he just loved getting hurt, and that's why he did what he did.
He went over there to get his ass kicked in strong style, yeah. Eventually, Sasaki goes for like tilt-a-whirl move, but Benoit like reverses it. He like kind of spins out of it and lands on his feet. And then he does 2 German suplexes, and then he hits a dragon suplex and pins him with that. And that was the match.
I found a interesting. Now I'm basing off of this this repackage. I don't know if he did it before, but I researched it. This is the first time Benoit does the rolling German suplexes for the first time in WCW.
Yeah, because I was gonna say I think we saw him do it in ECW when he was there.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been doing it for a little bit, but yeah, he never did that move when he used to be there before. I think I don't
Yeah.
ever recall seeing him do that.
Yeah, he was very like he did suplex, but not a German suplex, and he was very strong about it because I think he was like imitating the Dynamite Kid essentially.
Yeah.
But a sick dragon suplex, by the way, and I actually have a soft feeling for Eric Bischoff on commentating. I think he's actually good.
Yeah, I kind of gave him props before when we started hearing him on commentary. It was like, he's not bad, actually. People give him shit a lot, but he's better than Tony Schiavone to me. I don't know.
Yeah, Tony Schiavone, he's a very good like conversation person when he's with like Bobby Heenan or, Jesse the Body Ventura. I don't think he's a good commentator. That's why you don't hear him a lot. You have that masked fucking sometimes JR talking more than Tony. Which, hey, by the way, get your bag if you're just fucking like in the background speaking, especially when he told Tony Storm to shut up, bitch, or whatever. Remember that?
Oh my God, yeah.
And they were like, whoa.
Settle down.
Yeah. But yeah, I love Eric Bischoff on commentating because I think he does well saying the actual moves. And I also like his excited voice more than Vince. Vince is more like he stumbles on his words. Eric Bischoff is more like, hey, fuck you, in a way.
Vince has his own delivery. He has it's kind of over the top in his way.
Yeah.
I think it works for him, though. But yeah, to me, he kind of feels like Vince a little bit, but it's different. So yeah, I kind of appreciate it.
I gave this a 5.6 out of 10 because of the miscommunication stuff. But fucking love those German super. I'm starting to like appreciate simple moves now. Because remember, I was like, the atomic drop is great. And now I'm like, the bulldog is fucking great. Like when they throw the guy into the corner and he pops from the corner and the other guy goes off the ropes and then does a fucking bulldog. I like mark out for that now because it's like so smooth. I love it.
Shit looks great. It's all about complexity of 5, execution of 10. That's like the best thing to do. Just like, man, it just goes the Dusty Rhodes principle. Don't do shit you don't know how to do. If you don't know how to do it, do what you know how to do.
I forgot where I listened to. It was like some podcaster, and they're like, AEW is doing their like video game moves, and I'm like, that makes so much sense. Like they're actually like playing SmackDown versus Raw and just spamming move sets essentially.
Let's have an epic 25-minute match where we do all of our moves. Like,
yeah,
all of them.
Mm-hmm.
I gave this 5.8. I appreciated what they were doing in there, even with like the fuck ups and everything. Still, there was some pretty strong, fast action there. Like if it was just tighter, it could have been better.
And I think if they had like a couple more weeks, if they were doing these, two guys a lot, they eventually would have a banger of a match.
It's possible maybe they never wrestled each other. That might be another thing. Like it was like the first time they wrestled each other.
Probably. Someone eventually, when they write in the comments, they'll be like, yeah, they fought before. But anyway. Television championship match between Johnny B. Bad and Eddie Guerrero. Man, they're like actually pushing Eddie Guerrero like actively.
Yeah, and they're still pushing Johnny B. Bad too.
Because they're treating Johnny B. Bad as like this, badass champion, which he is. He earned it. And then Eddie Guerrero, like they keep on saying like this new sensation. They're kind of doing like, remember how like Marcus Alexander Bagwell, when he was like come up to like, oh, this up and comer, this rookie of the year thing.
Yeah,
that's how I feel with Eddie Guerrero in this year.
It kind of feels like that too. I think they like him the most out of like all the
cruiserweights.
The cruiserweight guys they just got recently, Benoit, him, and Malenko. And yeah, like with Johnny B. Bad, it still feels like they're pushing him more as like a serious wrestler now. He does it's just like he totally shed that little Richard shit, really.
Mm-hmm.
Like he still has a little bit of that, like when he's doing promos, but it's like it's not anywhere near like what it was.
It's like 80% Mark Marrow, 20% Johnny, like little Richard.
He's almost like proto wild man Mark Marrow now.
Mm-hmm.
They start this one with a handshake, so no Pearl Harboring this time.
Mm-mm. Respect.
And then they're like exchanging each other. They're like exchanging holds and escaping from each other's holds.
Mm-hmm.
And then Johnny does like a tilt-a-whirl back breaker to Eddie. That's a cool move.
Yep.
He goes for it again, but Eddie like reverses out of it. He does like a spinning head scissors thing, like when he's in the flip motion.
Yeah.
And then Eddie does like a single leg pickup. That's a thing cruiserweights will do, where they just pick your leg up and sweep you, and then they try to pin you real quick. That's exactly what happened there. And then Bad kicks out. And then he tries to do the same thing after he kicks out to Eddie, but he hops and he avoids it. That's cool.
Yep.
And then Bad like snap mirrors him over and he starts doing holds again. Then they're like fighting in the corner. He elbows Eddie out of the corner, knocks him down, does a slingshot leg drop for 2. And then Eddie tries to charge him after that. He like flings himself outside of the ring. So Johnny does his somersault senton, which is a cool move.
Dude, like, I know he's like, he done that before, but I think he put a little extra on that because Eddie's a cruiserweight.
He knew probably he was more familiar with that move, so he did it like a little faster that time, it seemed like to me.
Mm-hmm.
And he throws Eddie back in the ring, and he does like a spinning slingshot splash from the apron, but he misses. And then Eddie tries to cover him real fast and gets it too. I forgot. There's like a near fall exchange before all that happened. Like in the middle of that somewhere, like Johnny B. Bad tried to do his old top rope sunset flip move,
Mm-hmm.
and then Eddie and him like reversed it into different pins like several times. That was pretty cool too.
Yep.
At this point in the match, though, it's like Eddie can't get any momentum. Like he just keeps getting stopped or something. He tries a couple quick pins, nothing works. And then there's this spot where like Bad swings at him with his left because he's left-handed.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie ducks it because he knew about that. And then you think, oh, he's safe. But then Johnny just swings his right hand and fucking almost knocks him out.
You noticed
like,
the crowd was booing a little bit when that happened.
Yeah, when he punched him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm not sure why exactly that was. And then, like, Eddie almost rolled out of the ring and shit. Like, he had to, like, recover for a bit. So, like, the referee was like, yeah, get off him. Give him some time.
Mm-hmm.
Then Eddie gets up and he just tackles Bad. And then they start punching the hell out of each other, rolling around.
Yeah.
And the match, like, breaks down momentarily because both guys aren't listening to the referee. And
Mm-hmm.
I thought, are they going to double DQ or something? Like, nah, he regains control of the match. It's not over.
Yeah.
And then Eddie takes Bad down. And he does a slingshot senton. He gets 2. And then we're reminded there's 2 minutes left in the match. It's like, oh, fuck, there's a time limit. They didn't say there was. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I didn't notice until literally they just said it right now.
Yeah, I was like, oh, come on, guys. You got to tell us this.
And I already knew where it was going.
After they said that, I was like, oh, the time's going to run out. Both guys can't put the offense together to put each other down, and they do the double crossbody where like both guys crossbody each other and just collapse. And then they just get back to brawling, and then the timer runs out. And the match is over due to time limit.
Yeah. And it kind of looks like they hate each other for a little bit. And then eventually, like when the referee is like about to give the belt, I noticed 2 things. Like when the referee is about to like raise Johnny B. Bad's like hand as far as like still having the title, like the Eddie Guerrero kind of like pushes the referee away, and I thought he was gonna like put the belt on him, and then did the whole handshake respect thing, and that's when Bobby Heenan got like disgusted. By the way, because like Bobby Heenan was getting all like worked up. He like, you need to like sucker punch him in order to win. Like he was saying that out loud in the commentary, and I thought that was funny.
He's like, that's right, hit him.
Yeah. But then there was like another part where when finally the camera cuts away, like Eddie Guerrero was about to put the title on him, but like Johnny B. Bad was like, nah. He never like allowed it.
Yeah, they still like hugged it out and shook hands.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Bobby made the point. It's like I don't understand this. How can you hug a guy you just fought? Like you just punched each other in the face. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Randy Anderson reminds me of like fucking Earl Hebner, like on how he like has to like jump across the fucking like pile of bodies to make the pin. I'm like, dude, you see the shoulders right there? Just fucking pin.
No, he's got to do it his way. At least he's not Audrey. What's her face? Fucking
The horse.
AEW. The horse girl. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
got to make it all about her. She's got to get her shit in.
Mm-hmm.
But I gave it a 7. I thought it was a pretty good match, even though it was a time limit draw. At least it wasn't like those time limit draws where Regal had the belt.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's better with like a baby face, 2 baby faces, I guess, or something. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this wasn't as bad.
I gave it a 7.2 out of 10. I liked it.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I was like, man, I want to see like a 20-minute match.
You know, it's funny. Like we always like prop that Johnny B. Bad does good, and he's always like with a wrestler that's not as good as him, and you could tell. But this time he was like hooked up with someone that's as good as him and can keep up, and it just felt right. And I think they have good chemistry, and I hope we get to see more of that.
Yeah, he's been getting better opponents lately, so I guess that helps.
Mm-hmm. It said Bischoff says that Hulk Hogan will face Sting on Monday Night Nitro next week, which could be bad or good. I don't know. Sting is good. Hulk Hogan, I don't know how he'll face against Sting, but I guess we will see that next week or next episode. Gene Okerlund interviews Giant, Kevin Sullivan, and Jimmy Hart. Hart worries about what he's gonna do with the $200 Hulkamania jacket, and I was like, you know what? I kind of want it because the art looks good on it. Even though I'm like not a big Hulk fan, that jacket still looks rad.
Yeah, those airbrush jackets he'd always get.
I thought he was gonna have the Giant like rip it.
Yeah, that would have been kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. But he spent $200, so I guess he didn't want that to happen. And then Sullivan hypes that the Giants' odd to win World War III Battle Royale is good. And then he echoes the sentiments, essentially. I didn't, like, get it word for word. I kind of, like, just paraphrased.
There wasn't much to this one, too. They're still gloating over what they did. The funniest thing to me was Gene tells Jimmy Hart, like, what he did was, like, one of the most despicable acts he's ever witnessed. And then Jimmy goes, like, coming from you, baby, that's a good compliment. Like, he does his thing. I thought he said he had 200 Hulkamania jackets.
Oh, I must have heard it wrong.
Like, I thought that's what he said. I don't know what I'm going to do with my 200 Hulkamania jackets.
That's a lot of fucking jackets, dude.
Well, he started wearing those when he was still in the WWF. He had Hulkamania jackets. And then, like, when he came over here, he's been with Hogan since, like, last year.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's been probably having Hulkamania jackets made for, like, fucking 2-3 years.
That makes more sense. I'm like, then again, $200 in the 90s is a lot. So
yeah, it could be either. Maybe I misheard it. Either he's got a $200 jacket or he has 200 of these fucking airbrush jackets.
Either way, it adds up to 200.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I also like that Kevin Sullivan kept doing the Hogan like taser cell again.
Yeah,
I think he's making fun of it. He's doing like the ear thing while he's laying there like convulsing.
Yeah. I kind of like Kevin Sullivan a little bit.
He's pretty good here. I want to see his stuff when he was working in Florida. I'm more interested in that. When he had everybody convinced he was like a fucking Satan worshiper and they were fucking scared of him.
Yeah. All right. So we have a match between Sting. I forgot he was the United States champion.
Yeah, me too. Totally said it here.
Yeah. Faces off against Dean Malenko. Is this the first time ever?
I think so, because like Malenko's just gotten into WCW at this point. You know?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, these guys are facing off for the main event of WCW Nitro. So take it away as far as the play-by-play.
Yeah, like Malenko starts the match. He tries to dive at like Sting's legs, but he like evades it, and then they grapple for a bit. Then Malenko runs the ropes and he tries like a shoulder tackle, but it doesn't work on Sting. Then you see right shortly after this match starts, you see how small Malenko really is in this match. Because Sting's a pretty big guy, but he's not like a huge guy. He's like 6'3", maybe. Like he's like probably 255 or some shit, 260, maybe. It just shows Malenko's really small. Like he's got to be like my height, like 5'7" or shorter or some shit. But he manages to barely get a headlock on Sting. That's another way you can tell like the huge size difference. Sting has to bend over so far to get him in a headlock. Sting shoots him off. Malenko goes for a crossbody, but Sting lifts him in the air and does a big press slam, and I thought that was cool. It's like in that one motion he press slammed him. It was pretty neat.
Yeah.
Mongo starts doubting Malenko can beat Sting, while Eric actually takes up for him, saying he's seen smaller guys beat bigger guys before. So you're kind of setting that up. Even though I guess he's a heel. Like Malenko's a heel, he's just not like a hard heel, I guess.
Yeah.
And then Sting eats a drop kick to the knee, and then he's picked his body apart. So we go to break after that. Then we come back and they show a replay where Malenko missed a charge in the corner and Sting went for the Scorpion Deathlock, but like Malenko escaped it. That usually doesn't happen. He hits like another drop kick Sting's knee. He starts putting him in like leg holds, and now the damage is starting to settle in a little bit. He puts Sting in another leg lock. He does like the Deathlock kind of snapback thing, where the guy like falls back into the mat. It's like make it look like he's snapping his leg. That's cool. Sting manages to shoot Malenko in the corner though, and he tries to do a leapfrog back out, where he jumps behind the guy, but Sting catches him. Can't quite get Malenko's balance right though, and then he's going for a power slam, but Malenko shoves him into the turnbuckle on the opposite side. Then he hits a really nice German suplex for 2. From there, Sting's able to stop Dean's attack, and he just fires him in the corner again, and then he goes for a Stinger Splash, but misses. Malenko goes to the top rope. He does a missile drop kick, and then he goes to pin Sting. Sting catches him in an inside cradle real quick and pins him. And then Malenko's like, fuck, and he like hits the mat.
It was a nice little match.
Yeah, they didn't get a lot in there. Like, it was kind of short, too. It wasn't a long match. Felt like it was maybe about 10 minutes or so. It's fine, though, because it's like, I don't know if you really want to see Sting and Malenko in a long match. And then, like, to top that off, they kind of protected Malenko a little bit with this finish, I think.
Yeah.
Because Sting caught him in a wrestling move, and he couldn't get out.
Yeah, because he's stronger.
Yeah, and so it's also funny because like he's this super technical wrestler. He's got the 1,000 on the back of his trunks now. They're probably going to start doing that man of 1,000 holds shit. And he got beat with a wrestling move. That's kind of ironic.
What'd you give this match?
I gave it a 6. That was all right.
Yeah, I gave it a 6.6 out of 10.
Oh, you liked it a lot.
I liked it a little bit more because I'm just such a mark for Dean Malenko.
Dean Curve, essentially.
And Sting. I'm like, I like Sting, but like, I think he works well with everybody, in my opinion.
Yeah, where he's at right now still, he can pretty much work with anybody, I feel like, unless you just absolutely fucking suck.
Yeah.
Because we've seen that happen before.
Okerlund's in the ring. and interviews Sting, who says Hulk Hogan is no enemy of his. He reminds Hogan that he is the big dog in WCW. But he's like screaming shit where he's just like, he'll take him on or whatever and all that stuff.
Yeah, he's like, I expect you to come knocking on my door, and then he's like, I don't get it, and I was like, I don't get it either. Even though I said why he wants to challenge, I just don't understand why all of a sudden he's like, I want to fight you, brother. And Sting's like, you call me a little dog on the porch waiting for his turn, but you forget, brother, I'm a big dog here. And he's right.
Well, what I don't understand is like Hulk Hogan couldn't essentially beat the Dungeon of Doom, and now he's like challenging his friends. And I'm just like, why?
It's like what Heenan's saying. He's lost his mind and he's like attacking everybody.
Mm-hmm. Maybe he is taken by the dark side. Maybe he's like being like controlled.
I don't know. I just hope his shit ends soon.
Yeah, me too. Would you give the whole show?
I gave it a 6.2. I thought it was a decent little show this time. Nothing terrible happened except for that Hogan promo, really.
Mm-hmm. It was terrible.
I hated it. I mean, we laugh about it, shit, but objectively, it was bad. It was a bad segment.
Yeah. I thought we had good wrestling this episode. I think the entertainment part of the promos is kind of getting lackluster. It's like they're kind of like don't know what to do with the Dungeon of Doom at this point, and now it's starting to it's too long, in my opinion. So I gave it a 6.3 out of 10. I'm right there almost with you. And but I did love the wrestling. I did love Eddie versus John V. Bad, and then Sting versus Dean Malenko. So at least we got that.
Yeah, there was some decent action. I find myself wondering how much longer this Dark Side Hogan Dungeon Doom shit's gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
I think it extends into the beginning of next year, like before it really quits.
Goddamn.
I don't know. I don't even think the Dungeon of Doom really goes away for like a while after that. Also, we never learned what happened with Sting and Luger. Like they were kind of teasing, like we're going to get some answers about this, and then nothing. It never was addressed.
We'll probably get that next week.
I guess so. Also, the TV rating it got was a 2.0.
Ooh.
Dropped. I don't know if they dropped compared to last week, but
I wonder if it's because of the card. I wonder if they're just like, who the fuck is Dean? But they know like who Eddie is. But
last week was a 2.02 for them. So I mean, they have Macho Man in the opening match, and they have Sting in the main event. You think just based off of that, those two things, like, oh yeah, people will tune in to see that, but I don't know. They're like stagnant right now.
Maybe they're getting sick and tired of the Dungeon of Doom.
I kind of think that might be what it is, because I got a little peek at like the ratings again, like while I was checking this, and it seems like they're on the low end for a little while here.
Yep. Speaking of the low end, let's go into WWF Monday Night Raw, November 13th, 1995. We are in Keystone Center in Brandon, Manitoba still. We're still in that area. Is Brandon, Manitoba... Yeah, still in Canada. Cause I only knew that is when fucking Ted DiBiase put a loony in Razor's mouth, but we'll get to that. By the way, a loony is the Canada's money. I don't know what the fuck Canada was thinking about calling their money loony.
They called it a loony? What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Wow. It's weird.
Mm-hmm. Your hosts are Vince McMahon, and Jerry the King Lawler is back, I guess, because he's not doing a match. So that's why I appreciate when they do that, by the way. When announcers who are like active wrestlers that have matches, they should not be on commentating at all.
Yeah.
They should be focusing.
Yeah, you see what happened when Jerry Lawler had a match and he had to wrestle? He had a heart attack.
Yeah.
he couldn't rest enough. He's just...
Yeah. We get a video package of the friendship between Razor Ramon and 123 Kid with news of incidents of the house shows from past weekend where a kid was mad. Therefore, WWF President Gorilla Monsoon concludes since he is unsure kid can be impartial as a referee tonight, Razor Ramon versus Psycho Sid match, it will be a non-title match.
Probably a smart move in retrospect.
Yeah. that's like that's getting like too far into like kayfabe territory, like really like markish type of thinking away. Like how like Gorilla Monsoon's like, hey, he's doing questionable things, so non-title match. Like most of the time they'd be like, all right, well, since Kid is his friend, I guess he could, make sure it's fair and square.
Yeah, I'm not real sure like what his motivation was to do that to start with, because
Mhm.
it's like if they're friends, then this is about impartiality. Wouldn't you think Kid would be biased towards Razor before they started fighting more?
Well, I think that's more of like them being like, well, the faces, they are goody two shoes, and they'll make sure that it's fair and square. Kind of like just making like Super John Cena, like a referee, be like he's like a Make a Wish, person, so he's not gonna like do something shady.
Yeah, overall 100, John Cena won't do anything shady.
Yep. First match, the opening match, fucking snobby Triple H versus Henry O. Godwin, as we call him, Hog.
It's Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
I know, but I like to call him snobby Triple H.
Well, there's not much to this one. Hunter attacks Hog when the bell rings. He slams his head out on the floor, on the stairs, and then he rolls back in the ring. He starts spraying his little perfume bottle because, he's a smelly hog farmer.
Mm-hmm.
So Hog grabs his slop bucket and pours it on himself, which weirdly got a pop.
Yep.
It got a pretty big reaction. He gets in the ring and he's ready to grapple Hunter, and he starts freaking out because he's covered in slop. And he starts trying to run away, but he like slips and he falls up outside the ring on the stuff.
You think that was on purpose or like actual fell?
I think it was just at the edge of that, so I think he took that bump on purpose.
Okay.
But like there was a wet spot there, but it wasn't as much of like the other where the rest of it was near the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
But then when the referee was trying to hold back Godwin, he was like kind of slipping in it for real, I noticed. Yeah, he stalks after him, and the match just ends because Hunter's afraid of filth. So this isn't a match.
Yeah, no match, no score.
Yeah, it was just like a segment. I don't know.
Then we go to the Survivor Series Slam Jam, where fucking like Jerry Lawler is like, "Watch out, Doc, they're coming." And
he's like, "Oh, where? What? No!" He starts freaking out.
He picks up the pillows, and Vince is like, "Calm down, man. Calm down.
Calm down. You're in the studio in Connecticut, pal."
Yeah. He goes over the wild card match. Essentially, and also the Diesel versus Bret Hart match, plus an interview we're gonna have later on, which I do have some fucking remarks about that, by the way.
Yeah, that interview was interesting. He also shows some brief comments between Ted DiBiase and Cornette.
Yeah,
where he's like, DiBiase's concerned about Cornette double crossing his guys or something. He's like, don't worry, that's not going to happen. Basically, he just tries to reassure him, no, we're not going to do anything.
Yeah. Then we they say next in action is Ahmed Johnson.
Oh, did you see the Shawn Michaels hype package before that match?
Oh yeah.
There wasn't a lot to say. It was just like they put together a video just to hype him come back because he's been out.
I wonder if they found the Marine that like beat up Shawn Michaels. I wonder if he goes around and be like, "Yeah, I beat up Shawn Michaels."
Maybe, I don't know. He might not have even known who he was.
Mm-hmm.
That's possible, but like, yeah, it's just like hyping him up, and he's just like, I just want to come back and wrestle, and it plays that clip of him at WrestleMania in '90. Actually, I think it was earlier this year, where he's like, I'm going to put on the best show I can. Why? Because I can.
I don't like face HBK.
I kind of do, like, right now. The thing is, it's going to get, like, cheesier. Like, it gets cheesier for a bit, and then he kind of becomes cool again, I think, and then, like, it gets lame again. It's weird. It goes through, like, this up-down thing.
Yeah.
He's not doing shit like Diesel, though, where he's like,
oh my God,
I love the kids. Like, I think he's too smart to do that, to, like, commit to doing that, really. Because if you notice, he never really does that. He never does that. I'm smiling. Oh, shucks, shit. He doesn't do that. So
I'm surprised Vince didn't, like, try to find the Marine, and, like, that part where he's feuding with Shawn Michaels and God and all that stuff. Like, I'm surprised they didn't. He didn't find a Marine and be like, I have a partner, the Marine from Syracuse.
It could have just been some guy. It's like a wrestler.
Yeah.
Could have been he could have found Sergeant Craig Pittman, and he could have came out of retirement to beat up Shawn.
I would have popped for that, actually.
Yeah, that's a pretty good idea. Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't do that either. That'd been fucking funny.
Yeah. But we go into Ahmed Johnson. By the way, I fucking laughed when he was like taking the barricade, and he's just like fucking like doing bench presses on it, because they're just like, he slammed Yokozuna. He's fucking strong.
Yeah.
Ahmed Johnson versing this jobber named Jake Steele. I've never heard of him before.
Obviously, he's some jobber from Canada, because he has a Canadian tattoo on his bicep.
Yeah.
Like the flag. But Ahmed, this is like the first we see of Ahmed in the ring. He tries to shake his hand after they do a clean break. He backs him in the corner, and he goes, all right. Then he puts his hand out there, and Steele smacks it away. He's like, fuck you. And then, like, Ahmed's like, okay, that's how it's going to be. And then he, like, puts him in the corner again, and he walks away. But this time Steele hits him in, like, the back of the head. It doesn't really have an effect, because Ahmed's fucking huge. This is the only thing about this match I thought was weird, is, like, this guy is obviously huge, and he's like, fuck you. He's, like, going to get him mad at him and shit. Anyway, he gets Ahmed in the corner and somehow starts throwing some punches and shit, but they don't really work. It's like he's kind of selling him, but it's like it doesn't really hurt him.
Yeah. There was one where he gets a good one. Like those punches where it stings, but you're just still standing and just more pissed off. That was Ahmed Johnson.
Yeah, it's like he swung his whole body, and then he, like, stopped, and then he was, like, turning his head at him and shit. Like,
it's like a Terminator.
Ahmed gets out of the corner, and he pulls Jake Steele towards him, and he just nails him with this violent-looking fucking elbow. And then he, like, shoots him off and does this sick-ass spine buster. Like, he gets him high up in the air and just drops him. And he starts doing that shit where he's, like, crawling on the ground. He's like, yeah! He puts his tongue out. What the hell is he doing? And then he's like, why is he doing that with his tongue? Or, like, his tongue. Vince has some comment. I don't remember what he said. He's like, he's into it, pal, or something. Hey, he beats him with the Pearl River Plunge. It's just the Tiger Bomb. It's like a double underhook, you power bomb, sit out power bomb move.
It's so sick, dude. Like,
it is.
I know he's very stiff with his stuff, but, like, it looks good. Probably because it's stiff.
Like you see a little bit of that kind of in the Survivor Series match too. He starts doing. You see what I'm saying? Though he does all these crazy moves you don't think a guy like that would do.
Yeah.
This is squash, obviously. I like this squash though.
Yeah, because it made him angry. Like, even though the other guy got, like, some offense, it was like a Pokemon battle. Like, when you I don't know, throw a electric at a rock type, and the rock is like, it's not effective. That's essentially what happened.
Yeah, they're mismatched. I think after that match, Vince tries to get some comments ringside with Ahmed, and he says
I
something
didn't
about
understand. I didn't understand one word.
I didn't either. He said something about Bulldog and Sid, and I was like, "Oh man, I'm gonna need the Ahmed translator, the subtitles again from Warzone." Then he brings it in with Vince. He like does the hand, the high five, and bring it in with the hug, and he walks off of Vince. I'm like, Vince is invited to the cookouts.
Yep, he's getting that fucking grilled chicken and everything. No, I actually like digged his match. Like, and I also, when we get to the Survivor Series, I was like, this is cool, but I understand like some wrestlers are probably like, dude, fucking stop. Like,
I think Razor got kind of pissed at him in that match.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Barry Dudinski is showing the 1996 calendar, and I didn't get triggered, but I got like annoyed with like Vince and Jerry like, where's me? And I'm like, stop it. It's like, let him sell his damn calendar and fucking move on. I did love the Diesel gloves and shades. I kind of wanted them.
They were kind of cool, yeah. I wanted the Diesel shit back then.
Yeah. Now we got the promo.
The dual interview, yeah.
Yeah. I'll let you take away with this, but my comments on this is I did not like it.
You didn't like it, really?
I didn't like it.
I did like it. I liked it a lot. Why didn't you like it?
I liked Brett's part. I just think Diesel's part, he just fell flat. I think Diesel should have been a little bit more angrier, not to the point of yelling, but kind of just annoyed that like Brett just kept, because Brett was shitting on him. Essentially, like if this was today's wrestling, Twitter would be like fucking Brett buried fucking Diesel.
Yeah, they would definitely be saying shit like that.
Yeah.
It's funny because Brett wasn't even really like that aggressive in how he was talking to him. He was just like, I think Diesel's problem is he can't go the distance. He can't go past the 20-minute mark, and that's where I excel. And he doesn't have any technical skills like me. He's not a technical wrestler. That's kind of all he was saying, really. And then he's like, I got robbed out of my title. As far as I'm concerned, that's my title he's had the whole time. I had one match with him, and I never got a rematch.
I think Diesel fell flat, and I think he could have did a zinger where he's like, remember when he was like, I beat Shawn Michaels, and I beat Owen Hart, and I think Owen Hart is the better Hart.
Well, he did kind of mention them. Like he said, because Brett was like, I was the only guy that gave him a good fight. And then Diesel was like, Shawn Michaels gave me a pretty good fight at WrestleMania. And he said, I've faced Owen Hart too. I'm not afraid to face technical wrestlers. Like Shawn's more of a technical wrestler, I guess, and so's Owen. And Bulldog is too, even though that match did not fucking make it look like it was the case.
No.
But like, so he had points where he was correct too.
Yeah.
And I think Diesel was getting a little annoyed with some of Brett's comments, but like maybe he should have like been more annoyed.
I think he should have telegraphed it a little bit more for me to see, because I think he was just being Kevin Nash.
He was being real chill about it.
Yeah.
Like Brett, you could tell Brett was kind of like airing out like this frustration he's had for like the whole year, kind of. But he does it.
Yeah, because
it
kind of makes sense in a way, because like his mother should have never threw the towel in.
Yeah, he's like, my title reign ended. It didn't end the right way. I didn't get beat. Somebody who wasn't even involved in the match threw a towel in, and then he made that point about the Royal Rumble match where he was like, I didn't beat Diesel. He didn't beat me. The match just ended without a winner. How come I never got a rematch? So that's a good point. What I liked about it though was that it wasn't really over the top and shit. It felt more real and kind of sports based. This did.
Yeah.
Where it's like two guys like just making comments about each other and maybe being kind of annoyed and getting little barbs in. And I like this kind of stuff. And this is like something Vince starts doing around this time. And he does it for like the the WrestleMania main event that's coming up too. He kind of does this kind of stuff as well.
Where he stirs the pot.
Vince stirs the pot a lot. We've noticed it since we've started watching this early '90s programming.
Mm-hmm.
He does it here too. He asks these very pointed questions designed to like get a rise out of somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Like I forgot what he asked Diesel. Is like, do you think Brett's really the best? What do you think about him saying you don't have any technical skills? It's just damn. But I liked it, even though I agree with you. Maybe Diesel should have got a little bit more upset, but maybe they were saving that for the end of the match.
Maybe.
Because it's kind of like what happens at the end of that match is like he finally snaps and he blows his stack.
Mm.
It's been building up to this point. But I liked it quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't bury it too much, but I think it just like I think what bothers me is Kevin Nash sometimes is just too Kevin Nash at some certain points.
He can't seem to find that sweet spot. It's either he's being silly as hell and we don't like it,
Mm-hmm.
or he's like kind of too chill. I didn't have as much of a problem with him being more chilled here. Like, yeah, he maybe could have seemed a little bit more upset, but yeah, it's better than I think this is still better than when he's acting silly.
Mm-hmm.
It's because that doesn't suit him at all. Then we get the Karate Fighters fucking commercial, which was great.
Yeah.
This was the best one so far. Is Jerry Lawler and Vince McMahon fighting with their Karate Fighters, and then like Jerry Lawler wins, and then they show the instant replay, and it zooms in on Jerry Lawler's Karate Fighter, and you see he put a piece of fucking tape over the base of it so it wouldn't pop off.
Mm-hmm.
And then Vince was like, "You cheated." And he's like, I didn't cheat. You're just mad because you have to like expose your wig now. And Vince started doing this thing with his head, whatever. There's like this Vince for some reason made this joke about how he allegedly wore a wig. Like he wanted it to be part of his commentator persona or something.
That's funny. This leads to Vince promising that Undertaker will get a revenge on his team at Survivor Series, essentially.
Oh yeah, like you heard the gong, and then like the lights were flickering, and Lawler was like he was scared.
Yeah. Then we go to King Mabel with Sir Mo versus Roy Raymond.
Before this match starts, we get comments from the Undertaker, which doesn't amount to much. It just shows him shadowed in like a graveyard somewhere.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
He's like, I'm gonna get vengeance, basically.
Yeah.
Not much else. This was an entertaining squash because it seems like Mabel is figuring out how to do more shit in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Like he does this really cool. I don't know what to call this. It's not really quite like a backdrop, but it's like he grabs a guy, like he's going to suplex him. But instead of suplexing him, it's like he just flings him all the way across the fucking ring. It's like a cool move.
Yeah.
It also helps when he shouts. Like he's been doing this thing lately where he's like, "I'm the king!" it like booms through like the whole arena. You can hear him. He's not even mic'd. But he starts peppering that into any of his offense. He goes like, you lift weights and you make like a noise, or you like shot putters, when they spin around and they throw the thing. Same principle.
Yeah.
Absolutely murdered him, so it was entertaining. Squash.
Very squash. And I like when he's going up to the Titantron essentially, and he like sees himself and shit. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Got our Survivor Series commercial featuring Bill Clinton impersonator.
Yeah.
It's hyping that up. And we roll right into the main event from there. It's Psycho Sid with Ted DiBiase versus Razor Ramon with 1-2-3 Kid as the special referee.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys say about this one?
Let me see my notes. I wrote pretty good. Like I wrote, holy shit! Like Razor Ramon or Scott Hall has fucking crazy strength when he like lifts fucking Psycho Sid to the point where like Vince McMahon is jizzing.
Look at his power.
Yeah. I wrote, man, 1, 2, 3 Kid is fucking silly as a referee because he like flares his arms around at certain points, like he's
It's like flailing. Yeah.
and it's like he's trying to be all like referee like, but he's like acting retarded at the same time.
Maybe that was on purpose.
Mm-hmm. I don't have too much to say as far as like the play by play. I kind of just like sat back and like watched it because I was just like, because I knew 1, 2, 3 Kid essentially was gonna turn.
Yeah, me too. So I remember this.
Because I was like looking to see if I would see like shades of him like turning heel, and there was. I mean, there was some things that he was like slow counting a little bit, and Razor was just like, "Hey man, you're slow counting." And he's like, "No man, that was 2," and
or he was like obviously like he's trying to be like Sid, be like, no, give him time to recover. And Razor's out there getting shit kicked in by Ted DiBiase or fucking Dean Douglas.
Yeah. But I wrote like when he did the Razor's Edge and stuff, I was like, that was cool, like to the point of like him pulling him down and then fucking Sid taking him out and doing that fast count. I was like, that was a good touch to it, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, typically in any match he's in, he's usually the bigger guy in it. So for once, there's somebody bigger than him, and he's got to get him up for that move.
Mm-hmm.
But they start off with some good brawling. That's kind of this match is mostly like a more brawler power move style. But Sid overpowers Razor, and he gains control most of the match after this. He gets like his sick ass one handed choke slam.
Mm-hmm.
He tries to pin Razor, but he gets it too. And then like the majority of the match at this point is just Sid beating Razor down.
Yeah.
And there's the interference spots we were talking about. Razor's able to come back briefly after Sid messes up a backdrop and he eats like a knee. Razor lays some punches in. He's laying his punches in pretty good on Sid this time. And he almost gets Sid in the Razor's Edge early in the match, but Sid backdrops him out on the floor. And that's where Ted starts doing his cheap shots.
Yeah.
Then Dean Douglas comes out and to watch and enjoy Razor getting beaten up because he hates him. both in real life and in kayfabe. And we go to a break and we come back and Dean's getting cheap shots in on Razor too now. Just laying out there. While the kid's like, no, you need to let him recover out on the floor. He's doing anything but that.
Yeah.
He's able to get back in the ring and Sid keeps dominating. He hits like a back suplex and he does a big leg drop. He gets 2 for both of those. Then Sid gets him in a camel clutch. And then Razor stands up. He squats Sid basically from like a grounded position, which is like pretty fucking impressive. And then he drops him back. And Sid folds up off that. It looked pretty nasty.
Yeah, it looked like he hit his like shoulder blades, essentially. Like not like below his shoulder blades. It looked like he like folded him, like you said, essentially.
It's like he fell high on his back and kind of folded because he's so tall. His legs are so fucking long.
Yeah.
You notice when like Sid kicks somebody, it's like he's reaching almost halfway across the ring when he kicks him. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But like he shoots Razor in the corner after that, and he charges it, but he eats a boot, and then Razor hits the Bulldog out of the corner and gets it too. And then Razor's coming back. He's doing punches. And he sets Sid up for the Razor's Edge. And Sid, he gets him up. He almost it seems like Sid can almost get out of it, but not quite.
Yeah.
And then Kid, he comes over, he pulls Sid's leg down, and frees him from the move. And then Sid kicks Razor in the gut, and he power bombs him, and he pins him.
It was the quickest 1, 2, 3 ever.
Yeah. Kid goes 1, 2, 3. I remember it like to this. That's burned in my memory of him doing that count because I remember watching that when I was a kid, and I was like, no, because he screwed Razor Ramon over. I was like, no.
You ever play like the special guest referee like on Raw versus SmackDown or like any other of the wrestling games, and you would like do it really quickly?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Kind of remind me of that.
I like this match. It was pretty good. See, Sid could have a pretty good match if he's in there with somebody who's able to have a good match with him.
Yep.
Scott Hall.
Scott Hall's always good. He's a good worker.
I gave it a 6.9. I thought it was pretty fun.
Yeah, I gave it a 6.8. I had a good time. And I thought, like, finally, 1, 2, 3 Kid turns. Like, we knew it was happening, but, like, they just, like, milked the shit out of it, essentially.
Yeah, it was ongoing for a while, like, since, like SummerSlam?
Hmm.
I think, yeah. And then, after the match, Ted DiBiase comes in and stuffs those Canadian dollars in Razor's mouth, whatever you called those.
Mm-hmm.
And Kid, like, hilariously reaches down and grabs him and puts him in his pocket. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, I thought what was going to happen is, like, I think it would have been better if, like, DiBiase just paid him, essentially.
I think it'd be fun. It'd be even better is if DiBiase paid him a bunch of money right there, and then he gives Kid, like, 3 more, and he's like, here, and then he makes Kid do it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it just drive it home even more. And then there'd be more of a reason for Razor to be so fucking pissed at him like he was. Because it's like, not only did he betray him, he embarrassed him. Vince calls him a dirty, stinking turncoat. I thought he was going to call him a dirty, stinking turd. I was just like, that's just what my brain filled the blank in.
It sounded like he was saying that.
They go to the back and just. Oh, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say JR is backstage with Douglas, Cornette, Yokozuna, and Owen Hart. Jim Ross asked Douglas why he attacked Razor, his partner at Survivor Series, and Douglas laughs. And Razor runs in and starts attacking him, and it just fucking ends. And I was like, that's fucking cool. Because I didn't want to hear Shane Douglas at all.
Yeah, like he goes to say he should be Intercontinental Champion, and then that happened.
Mm-hmm. So what'd you give the whole show?
I gave the show a 6.8, actually.
Nice. I think we're getting a little delay, so let me restart my browser. I wonder if it's me, so I'll be right back.
All right. It's me.
How is it now?
I don't know. How is it?
Oh, hold on a second. God damn it. How about now? Can you hear me?
Who are you? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you. There's a big delay.
Yeah, hold on a second. I'll be right back. How about now? We good? Hello?
Hello.
I think there's a big delay right now. Right?
Yeah, hang on. I'm going to try to fix something on my end because I've got
Okay.
my download speed's like really low right now for some reason.
Well, while you're doing that, I'm gonna put this on. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Is it good now? Hello? Better?
How about, I don't know. How about now?
I could hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. I think we're good from here.
Okay. Maybe you just need to rejoin it.
Yeah. I gave it a 6.7 out of 10. The show.
Okay. Yeah, we weren't that far off then.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of stuff happened. I mean, it wasn't really like there wasn't a dull moment in this show, really. It seems like they're keeping up that fast pace of the show thing. Like, remember how I was talking about that last time we watched one? It's like they upped the pace on their show in terms of like stuff happening for some reason. Maybe because Vince felt like pissed off or something.
I noticed their video packages have been getting a little better.
They've always had good video packages, but yeah, they're getting better. They're kind of hitting that stride right now in the 90s at the stuff they were known for.
Mm-hmm.
This show also got a 2.6 for the TV rating.
Mm-hmm. What was the TV rating?
2.6.
Oh, better than WCW.
Yeah, there's a gap there now.
Mm-hmm. All right. WWF 1995 Survivor Series time. We're at the pay-per-view November 19th, 1995. We are in US Air Arena in Landover. What? Where is it at? What's MD again?
Maryland.
Okay, Maryland. There we go. Oh yeah, because the fucking capital. My bad.
Yeah, this show opens with a surprise, like straight up. It starts and Mr. Howard Finkel goes, "Introducing Mr. Perfect," and Mr. Perfect comes out and he's wearing like a snazzy jacket.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while since we've seen him. Like it's been since like early '94, I think.
Yeah, the last time we saw Perfect, wasn't he like yelling at fucking Bret Hart, essentially?
I thought he was yelling at Luger.
Oh yeah, Luger. That's a person.
Like, yeah, like we kind of thought they were going to have a feud, but I think Mr. Perfect's back was fucked up and he had to go away for a while. So now he's not quite back. And he doesn't get back in the ring. Like this is like getting towards the end of his WWF run, actually. He leaves the company next year at some point. I found out he was planning to make his in-ring return there before he left. I guess Uncle Eric offered him too much money.
Yeah.
Like, I found out what the plan was supposed to be. They set up this feud. It wasn't a feud, or they were setting up a feud, it looked like, with Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
Oh, that would have been cool.
Yes, that would have been a good match, probably.
Mm.
And what was actually going to happen was is they worked everybody, and Mr. Perfect was friends with Hunter Hearst Helmsley the whole time, and I guess they were going to be like a team or something.
That would have been cool too.
Or he was going to be like a player coach, kind of like Roddy Piper was, you know? Like he would be like teammates with the guy, but he wouldn't wrestle as much as him, but he would when it would matter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh man. That would have been kind of cool. Maybe his career would have extended a little bit more.
It probably would have. He probably would have been in more meaningful angles and matches, you know.
Yep.
Because unfortunately, what sucks about Mr. Perfect's career is when he gets to WCW, it's like, what do you really remember him doing after being in the NWO? Like, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's terrible.
We start off with the Slam Jam as Pettingale or Pettinzu is inside of the limo. He referenced on Action Zone. He first goes over the competitors in the wildcard match and refers to Sean as the most charismatic superstar in WWF. And then we see Sean video from Raw, pretty much, him doing that narration promo thing.
I just want to come back and I want to be the best.
Mm-hmm. Petting Zoo says he will interview President Clinton tonight, which I rolled my eyes so hard. We then go over the Royals versus the Dark Side match for a bit, and then they do the video package with Bret Hart and Diesel, which I thought was good. That's why I said like their video packages are starting to get like top tier in my opinion.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then Pettingale finally arrives to the arena and gets through the curtain while being announced by Howard Finkel. He soaks up the cheers and tries to interview President Clinton and gets blown off. So he enters the ring to pump up the crowd. Not a single mention of the underdogs and the women's match on this pre-show, essentially.
Where'd you see this stuff at?
I didn't go on Peacock. I found it on F Movies and stuff because I was just like,
Oh, okay. Because I watched it on Peacock, and it's just like it introduces Mr. Perfect, and it goes straight into the first match. Yeah. So I didn't see all that. The first match is the underdogs, which is Marty Jannetty, Hakushi, Barry Horowitz, and Bob Holly versus the Body Donnas, which is Skip, Rad Radford, Tom Pritchard, and the 1-2-3 Kid, which was a surprise entry on that team. Ted DiBiase and Sonny are ringside for them too.
Yeah. She's like really loud.
Well, she's doing her gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
She's being obnoxious. Let's see. Razor tries to come out and get the kid, but like a bunch of backstage officials like prevent it from happening.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the heat's there.
Yeah.
And then Marty and Dr. Tom start the match. And I'm like, all right, I get to see Tom Pritchard in a match again because it felt like I haven't seen him for a while on like WWF TV.
Mm-hmm.
He's still wearing his Heavenly Bodies gear. I know, later, I'm not sure how later, but maybe in a couple months, he joins the Body Donnas. He becomes the second Body Donna. He cuts all his hair. And he has like a buzz cut. He looks awful like that. Oh my God. That was a terrible fucking idea to cut his hair anyway. But there's some scuffling there, but then like Rad Radford tags in, who Sonny calls or when she introduced him as the king of grunge rock, and I'm like, nothing about that guy looks like he'd fit into that scene at all.
No.
He's too fat, and he just doesn't look like those kind of people. He's not even got like a flannel. Like Raven had like the flannel tied around his waist and shit, and he wore like the ratty ass clothes, and he had the hair. That's why Raven, like you could pass Raven off as that. But I digress. Bob Holly tags in. He does like a Hurricane Rana, which I did not expect to see him do.
I didn't expect him to. I was like, holy shit, he could do that.
He's a little more spry in his early career.
You could say he's a spark plug.
Yeah. Rad tries to do a Hurricane Rana. Bob Holly just drills him with a power bomb when he's in midair. They have a pretty good sequence together. Bob Holly and Skip do. He gets tagged in. Like, Skip tags Tom in. He gets control over Holly. He does like a gut-rich power bomb for 2, and then he goes to top rope and does a moonsault, but he misses. So Bob gets up and he goes to top rope and he does crossbody. And he gets 3. So Dr. Tom is eliminated.
Mm-hmm.
Skip comes in. He rolls up Bob and he eliminates him. He pins him for 3. Okay, so they're both out. I think Skip, he's doing more stuff. He does like a top rope Hurricane Rana on Hakushi. Like Hakushi gets in after that.
Yeah.
He gets up after that move and he raises his arm. He's like, yeah! And he flops onto the mat. He does like a flare flop.
Yep.
You can hear Sonny screaming out there. I thought that was funny.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that about Skip, about Chris Candido. He likes to do a comedic spot in his matches where it looks like he's doing awesome and he just totally fails.
Yep. I chuckled.
Nakushi's doing all his cool offense on 1, 2, 3 Kid until he tags out to Rad. Rad comes in and super kicks Hakushi, which I didn't expect that move out of him.
Mm-hmm.
He rolls up Hakushi, hooks his pants for 3. Actually, Kid super kicked Hakushi in the back of the head. I messed that up in my notes. Rad rolls him up. Hakushi's out. Then Barry Horowitz is like coming out and he's like, "Oh, are you okay?" And then Rad starts beating him down. And he basically just outpowers and out wrestles him for a while. And it was at this point I was like, I don't remember seeing this guy wrestle before. Radford.
Yeah, that's why I messaged you and I was like, he's pretty okay. I just didn't see enough of him.
After this or something. His name's like Luke.
Yeah, he died at like in his early 20s.
Yeah, so he must not be long after this. But they start messing around and he's like lifting Barry's shoulders up when he tries to pin him. Like he could beat him, but he's not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's showing off and he's like doing push-ups and stuff because he's trying to be a body Donna. He's trying to join them that's another thing. It's weird. You can't be like in the grunge scene and being like, I want to join the popular lame ass people. That's just not how it works.
No, you're an outcast. You're supposed to be an outcast.
Yeah. Like Raven would be like beating these people's asses if he was there. Barry swoops in while he's doing push-ups and he does an inside cradle and he pins Rad. He's eliminated while he's goofing off.
It's Sunny's like pissed off.
Yeah, she's freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
Skip comes in, but then Kid tags him and Barry doesn't see it. So he's focused on Skip. Kid Pearl Harbors him and he hits a running leg drop and pins Barry for 3. He's out. Barry's eliminated.
Mm-hmm.
It's down to Marty and Skip. And Marty's out wrestling Skip, who's like clearly he's selling like he's really tired at this point. And he shoots Marty off, and Marty like nails a rocker dropper instead of being backdropped.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes to the top rope, but Sunny gets up there and she like shakes the rope. So covers, and he like hits a diving power bomb on Skip off the top rope and pins him. And I was like, whoa, you don't see that kind of move often. We've seen the super bomb in ECW, but like you don't see shit like that on WWF TV.
Yeah.
So now it's just Marty and Kid. Kid runs in, he does a flying clothesline, he hits the leg lariat, and he does a top rope leg drop, and he just gets a 2 after that. And then Kid does like the running drop kick in the corner, which always looks nasty. And he's been doing like these martial arts poses, like when he does a move, and it's like getting heat when he does it. I think it's pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
He body slams Marty. He goes to the top rope. He does a flip and senton. He misses. Both guys take a while to recover. Marty's doing punches. He puts Kid in a headlock. He starts punching the hell out of his head. And then Sid comes walking out. At least Marty ignores this. He doesn't do that shit where, like, I don't know, it's popular in more modern wrestling for, like, if they see a guy coming or they hear the music, they stop what they're doing and just like, what?
Yeah, they're like looking at him like, why are you here, man?
What are you doing?
Yeah.
And then they get Pearl Harbor to beat usually.
Yeah.
So he ignores it. And he hits a rocker dropper on Kid. He pins him, but he takes a little too long to do it, so Kid gets his legs on the rope.
Yeah, I think Marty's PTSD from when Sean kicked him, so he's always on alert.
He's always on high alert of getting betrayed or something or fucked.
Yeah.
Kid grabs the ropes after another pin attempt, and then Ted distracts the referee so Sid can get on the apron. And he lifts Marty in the air, drops him throat first on the fucking rope.
I appreciate that fucking Marty sold the shit out of it.
He should, because Sid threw him up in the air and just forced him down on the rope. It looked awesome.
It looked like he beheaded him with the ropes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Kid gets the pin off of that, and he wins the match.
Yeah, I really, like, from beginning to end, like, I appreciated everything about this because it was booked so well. It was booked for, like, each wrestler's ability, essentially. And it made it believable, like it was an actual fight.
I was thinking about what you were saying in the chat earlier when you were saying, like, I miss Survivor Series matches. And I was like, yeah, I do too. But then when I watched this, I remembered why I like the Survivor Series matches, at least if they're good. Like this was a pretty good one.
Yeah.
It's because it's like you get all these guys in this match, and it becomes almost like a highlight reel of all these guys. They're able to do all their shit to each other.
Essentially, I look at Survivor Series like when you're in a classroom and they go, all right, as the teacher, I'm going to pick the groups, essentially. And you need to learn how to, work with each other, essentially. And that's what Survivor Series is all about, where Vince or whoever the booker was during that time was like, all right, this is who you're going to work with. Just do it. And they sell it well in the ring. Like, oh, even though I'm a heel, I'm still competitive,
Yeah. Did you have any other thoughts about this one?
No, I just thought it was a great opening. I think this was like the great opening for Survivor Series, because if it was any other one of the matches, I kind of would have been like, especially like there's some good things about the Undertaker and Mabel stuff, but like I would not have that open.
No, that's not good for an opener. And I don't think the one that had like the higher card guys, you wouldn't have put that in the beginning either.
No, that they need to be near the end. But like this, I was just like, it was solid. Everybody in that ring, even like the low mid carders like Skip and Rad Radford, like, and Barry Horowitz did really well.
Yeah.
And I love that like Sid Vicious was there to like pretty much. That's how 1 2 3 Kid beats Marty, a veteran.
It's his insurance policy now.
Mm-hmm. I actually gave this a 7 out of 10. That's like I thought it was a solid, good first match.
I gave it a 7.9.
Oh shit, you were higher.
I liked this a lot. It was a fun match.
Yeah.
After that, we see Razor's pissed off backstage.
He like fucking launches that monitor. I thought he was gonna go like launch it at the toilet seat in the little bathroom area.
He flung it across the room and it hit like a wall. And
yeah.
He starts throwing the furniture. He throws the table, and all the baby faces like, "Hey man, calm down, like settle down." And I'm like, "Hey man, that production monitor is expensive. Don't fucking break that." I
thought Savio Vega was gonna get fucking owned because he like grabs the Razor and like fucking Scott Hall turns around. I was like, "Fucking own him! Come on, do it!" I dare you.
We get Petting Zoo back there with Yokozuna, Owen Hart, D. Douglas. So like the rest of Razor's team.
Mm-hmm.
And Jim Cornette's there with Mr. Fuji. And Jim Cornette wins this promo immediately because Todd asks him, like, what does he think about what's going on with Razor? And he's like, Let me tell you something, Razor Ramon. You act like a tough guy when you're beating up furniture and throwing Sony Trinitrons across the room. He called them out like what model they were. And it's like, you need to decide where your priorities lie. But since you're about to get a rubber room in the puzzle factory, you need to figure out if you can get along or we'll get it on. Because he's going crazy.
Yeah.
It's one of his favorite sayings, getting a rubber room in the puzzle factory. And then Owen and Douglas are like, yeah, you better get your head out of your ass and fucking focus on this match without all the swearing, basically.
What do you think of this next match?
You know, it was okay for what it was, and I get what they were trying to do with it, but like there was like a bunch of awkwardness in this match that brought it down, unfortunately. Like I'm not saying it's bad, it's just like it could have been better than what it was.
And I knew pretty much Alundra Blaze was gonna like face off against the whole team because they're like pushing her and everything. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy this match at all.
I liked some of it, like spurts of it, and I'll kind of get into that in my. I don't write a bunch of extensive notes about this one because it's not that long either, which was smart. It's like Berth Faye, Aja Kong, Tomoko Watanabe, and Lioness Asuka versus Alundra Blaze, Hyoko Inoue, Saki Hasegawa, and Chaparita Asari. That has to be a fake name. In a Survivor Series match. And it's like, yeah, if you're wondering the same thing I am, it's like, why are all these Japanese women wrestlers in this match? And yeah, it's because there's no women's wrestling that's active. There's no scene right now in like the mid-90s in America. Not really. Like, believe it or not, it died off even more. So, I think Vince has some kind of agreement with like All Japan. I think that's where a lot of these women wrestlers come from. Because WCW is working with New Japan. They have a relationship with them. And All Japan was known back then to be their dojo produced like a bunch of amazing women wrestlers. That's where all the amazing women wrestlers came from in the 90s that everybody knows. Their dojo was also hard as fuck on people. But let's see. I think is Asuka, Lioness Asuka, to not confuse anybody. And Asari started us out, which that's like the smallest girl in this match. They do some cool moves for a bit. She does a spinning wheel kick and a giant swing, which was like kind of cool. And then Mr. Perfect hilariously says, I bet her old man doesn't stay out late at bars. I'd like to come home to that. And then Vince starts laughing. It's like Pop Vince. Blaze tags in. She fights Asuka for a bit. Then she tags Asari back in. And she hits like a Sky Twister press, which is like an insane move for like America. And the crowd goes, oh, like audibly, the whole crowd like reacted to that. And what pisses me off is Asuka didn't even sell it. She got up immediately. I was like, no, you got to sell that move. I don't care if she weighs 90 pounds. Alundra Blaze hits her bridge German suplex and she pins her instead. And the Sky Twister press should have probably got the pin, but whatever. And then what sucks about this match, though, is you see flashes of cool stuff like that, and then it gets ruined by like awkward timing or like the fact that the Japanese wrestlers don't tag in and out at all.
Yep.
They just come in the ring when it's their turn. That Saki Hasegawa, she did several double arm suplexes, which was cool. Like she did like Benoit does the German suplexes over and over. She does that, but with those.
Yeah.
And that actually got an audible reaction too. And after that, though, the match wasn't that fun anymore.
Yeah.
It kind of fell off after that. Like Aja Kong eliminated Blaze's whole team. And I don't really get that because I would have thought Bertha Faye would have done that or something, or like both of them could have done it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just her. Maybe it's like some agreement they had to have with All Japan because they're probably going to have a match soon over there or some shit, so she needed to look strong. I don't know. But Blaze turns around and takes out the rest of Bertha Faye's team, even her, except for Aja Kong.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just those two. And it's just a one-on-one match with them for a few minutes. Blaze puts up a pretty good fight, but Kong beats her with a spinning back fist for 3.
I was bored.
It's because you hate women.
Exactly. They should be in the kitchen.
That's what Mr. Perfect said.
I know.
He actually said that shit. He's like, I don't know why all these women are out there. They should be in the kitchen making meals for their old man.
Yep. But I'm not gonna totally bury it. Like you said, there were some parts where it's good. I think a lot of it again is communication. With the one American compared to the others, and I guess Harvey whooping there with Bertha, but I don't know. I just give it a solid average 5 out of 10 because I think Alundra is great, and essentially the women's division will build up. It's just going to be too late without her.
She's too early.
Yeah.
She's like a few years too early.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing for Luna, though. Fortunately, she had to like leave and go wrestle men in fucking ECW.
Mm-hmm.
I gave us a 5.5 because I enjoyed like some of the wrestling they were able to do before it just started breaking down and it became kind of boring because of booking.
Yeah.
What I don't really agree with is just having this match though. I wouldn't have put this match together.
Nah, I would have got rid of it. This doesn't need to be in the pay-per-view.
The biggest problem is that nobody knows who any of these women are, except for the two of them, and they have to fight really hard to get a reaction just them being there. So this was like worse. It's like Aja Kong was supposed to be the huge star, and everybody was like, "What the fuck?" Like they didn't know how to react to her.
The crowd was fucking dead.
They were reacting to the other girls because they were doing cooler shit, and then it was her turn to do stuff. It's like none of her stuff is as flashy. It's just like she's a big kind of dumpy Japanese woman who overpowers people with her weight advantage.
Yeah.
So it's just not as cool.
My favorite part is Petting Zoo's talking to fucking Clinton or the impersonator Clinton, and then Bam Bam Bigelow's fucking pyro goes off, and all the Secret Service fucking jump on Bill Clinton.
That was actually fun. That whole thing. That's like during Bam Bam's entrance for the next match. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you said your favorite wrestler is Bam Bam Bigelow, and he's like, oh yeah, I've been watching him since he was a kid playing with pebbles, and I saw Fred and Barney and Wilma, and Todd's like, you're talking about the Flintstones. And he goes, you know, people say your administration's out of touch, but I don't get it. And then Bill Clinton's like, me either. I don't understand it. And then that's when the pyro goes off.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's actually, that whole thing was actually kind of funny.
That was funny. I literally laughed at that. I was like, that's fucking cool.
And then like Petting Zoo was like, you're a little jumpy, Mr. President, to which he says, you would be too if you lived in my neighborhood. I popped again. I was like, oh wow, they totally say the last time they had the fake president thing, it wasn't anywhere near as clever as this was.
Mm-hmm. They just had him like in there, and like Jerry Lawler would like do like a lot of Hillary and Bill Clinton jokes and stuff. This one they're just like doing bits, and I was like, that's funny.
Yeah.
We got Bam Bam Bigelow versus Goldust. I totally forgot about this match.
Almost did too.
Yeah.
Not that it was bad or anything. Goldust's interest is too long right now. That's like the main thing. Like you need to shorten it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I understand you want to like show off the pomp and circumstance of Goldust because he's a weird guy.
Mm-hmm.
but it's just way too long. They need to cut like a minute or so off of that.
Yeah.
This match was a little better than the other ones he's had so far, I think. I think he's getting more comfortable with working as Goldust, maybe. He hasn't quite gotten to that point where he's doing all the weird shit that he's known for. I also noticed he was booked to look tougher in this match than in the previous ones where he looked kind of weak and almost ineffective.
Yeah.
It was like he was barely squeaking by in those matches.
Yeah, this one he seems he has more power to him, and he's also working a little bit faster. I don't know if you noticed that. He's not like going slow and acting like a giant, because that's what essentially he was doing before. He was acting like he was a giant.
Kinda, yeah, I think. And like the other thing was he didn't sell like he was hurt as much, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like weird. I get what you're saying, where it's like he's kind of working like a giant. He's being, I call it methodical, like he's working slow.
Mm-hmm.
But like he would also sell a lot. Like it's like he would get fucked up by like a couple of moves and could barely like continue.
Did you hear what Ben said about Goldust? He called him a little androgynous.
Androgynous?
Yeah, and then fucking taunts Perfect about Goldust staring at him and stuff. And I was like, what is going on? Like,
I think he's staring at you, and he's like, he's not looking at me. No, that's not what's happening right now. It's like he was denying it.
Yeah.
He's trying to
I kind of wonder if, like, maybe they were teasing Goldust versus Mr. Perfect, which also would have been good too.
That would have been good as well, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did we say Jim Ross was on the commentary? I don't think we did.
I slightly talked about it, I think.
Okay.
But at the same time, he's there, but he's also not there. Like,
he's not there enough.
Yeah, Perfect and Vince is just fucking going off the whole pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's like JR's like the third wheel in this. He gets little comments too. Like I remember in the women's match, he was saying to Perfect, like, I could set you up with her. He was talking about Aja Khan.
Yeah.
Perfect's like, no, thank you.
Perfect sounds like Jonathan Coachman on commentator. Like if you close your eyes and listen to him, you think it's Jonathan Coachman. Just next time, listen to him and commentating.
No, I get what you're saying. They got like a similar tone of voice. He's like a little deeper than him, I think. But yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, this was a pretty decent work match. I also know Goldust didn't spend as much time fucking with his gloves and his ring gear. It's like I think somebody told him, like, hey, you're messing with that shit too much. You stop.
Yeah.
But he finished Bam Bam with a bulldog for 3. There wasn't a whole lot to say about this match, like, you know, play-by-play wise. It was more like a brawl.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like Goldust was actually kind of like keeping Bam Bam from like being able to get any offense.
Well, sadly, I think Bam Bam is on his way out. So
yeah, they use him to get him over.
Mm-hmm. Again, this is where I kind of marked out about the Bulldog. I know we've seen Dustin Rhodes Bulldog in WCW, but fuck, man, Bulldogs are great to see. That's why I think of, like, when CM Punk does it, I'm like, now I know why he does it, because when I used to see him before he took his ball and went home, he did the Bulldog, and I'm like, that's such a lame move to do. And he would always do that, like, knee in the corner, but it's all a setup.
But I think the Bulldog's a great move because it's like think about this: you get a guy in a headlock and you run, and then you jump in the air and you force his head into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a running DDT almost.
I used to do that in the schoolyard.
I used to do that to my brother and shit. Yeah, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I gave it a 6.3 though. I thought it was decent. It helped get Goldust over more, I think.
I have the Bam Bam curve, so 6.6 for me.
Ah, okay.
Is Bam Bam in the Hall of Fame?
I don't know, actually. I'm not sure. Have to look into that.
Yeah, we gotta get on that fucking Triple H. Come on.
Bill Clinton is with Bob Backlund, and they have words in the presidential box. And this wasn't as funny as before. Like,
No,
it was like awkward, kind of, and Bill Clinton was like,
it's because of Backlund.
"Yeah,
I
it's
actually
Backlund."
it's Backlund's fucking autism fucking weirdness that he has. Because he's like Backlund. Clinton says Backlund should run with Colin Powell, which I guess Colin Powell was like, obviously a Republican because he's with Bush later on. During 9/11. And Backlund just like interrupts Clinton and goes, "It's Mr. Backlund." And I was like,
"You
"Shut
address
up,
me
dude."
as Mr. Bob Backlund."
Yeah.
This wasn't as funny. It might have been because Bill Clinton didn't know how to react to Bob Backlund, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that one was kind of a dud. And then they recap the deal with Mabel and Undertaker before they get in this match. It's just like a recap package to get everybody up to speed. The Royals, Mabel, Jerry Lawler, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Isaac Yankem versus the Dark Side, Undertaker, Savio Vega, Henry O. Godwin, and Fatu with Paul Bearer, a.k.a. BSK. It's just BSK in a tag match. It's like, for people who don't know that, it's the Bone Street crew. That's just Undertaker's crew he used to always hang out with backstage. That was him and his buddies.
Mm-hmm.
I guess Savio was in BSK. He's the only one I'm not sure about. But yeah.
What happens after, like, Savio Vega at a certain point, like, the character fizzles out after Austin, right? What happens to him later on? What's his gimmick?
He doesn't really change his gimmick. He just kind of like fades off. It's like he has like a decent little mid-card run there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, around 97 going into 98, he just gets out of the company. I don't know if he left or like they got rid of him because they didn't want to use him anymore.
Yeah, it's a shame. He's a good wrestler.
I think he goes back to Puerto Rico and just kind of wrestles there. Because when you're good enough in Puerto Rico where you can like get yourself figured into like that territory, you pretty much don't have to go anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
That's like that's where Carlito's been this whole time until he came back. He just went back to Puerto Rico and just stayed there.
Dude, Carlito's funny.
He's fucking hilarious right now.
Yeah. And I love that people are not canceling him, because if this was WWE like 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, that part where, like, remember, I think it was like Io Sky and like Asuka like yelling in front of like Pierce.
I think
and
Kairi
like,
Sane was there too. Yeah, like all three of them were there.
Yeah, Carlito's like, "Do you speak Chinese?" And I was like,
he was checking them out, and then he was like, after they left, he's like, "Man, I gotta learn Chinese," and then he like bites into his app.
Yeah.
Well, people would have thought that was Vince being racist, probably.
Mm-hmm. That's totally Carlito.
They would have been right to think that because he has a track record of that. But yeah, Carlito was just being a dumbass heel. That's what he was doing. Oh, geez. This match is interesting. It's not bad either. I think it's pretty good. It's just it kind of
too slow. Like, I understand why it's slow because all the big men. But there are shades where, like, when Hunter Hearst Helmsley's out there, he's doing good things. Kane or Isaac Yankem is like learning in this match still. He's still green.
Lawler does his stuff, you know. He's not slow, but you know how he does more like kind of character work, kind of.
Yeah, he sells a lot.
He sells a lot. And he gets heat. Godwin's not really that slow, I think. Fatu isn't either. I don't know. I think it was just a pacing thing because Savio's not slow either. It's just how they pace the match. Which, when we see how it ends, you understand maybe why they paced it that way. Undertaker finally reappears, and he has his Phantom of the Opera like skull mask. And I actually thought it looked pretty cool. I kind of forgot what he looked like when he had it.
Mabel was scared.
Everybody was scared.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it especially looks cool when he has his hair in his face and it kind of obscures it. It looks cooler like that. When all his hair's out of his face, you can kind of see it. It doesn't look as cool.
Mm-hmm.
I also like how Undertaker's whole team is wearing his shirt.
Yeah.
It's just funny. Fatu and Helmsley start, and they wrestle pretty good together, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, they do this funny spot where like Helmsley stops short off a backdrop, and he's like going to do the pedigree to Fatu, but he's really close to Undertaker's corner, and actually he's like standing right beside Undertaker, and when he hooks him, he looks over at Undertaker, and he gets scared, and he runs across the ring and abandons the move. And then Hogg tags in, and Helmsley collapses on his ass and scurries to tag Lawler because he's just afraid of Godwin because of the filthy peasant he is. He doesn't want to get beat by this filthy peasant.
He's so afraid of the slop. It's so funny.
Lawler doesn't want to fight him. Lawler's hilarious because he gets tagged in, and then Lawler goes through the ropes, and he tags Yankem in because he just doesn't want to fight right now.
Mm.
Then Yankem and Godwin fight for a bit, so Helmsley can get back in after Godwin's been worn down a little bit. But Hogg's able to muscle him up through and he does like a delayed press slam, which looked awesome.
Yeah,
like,
that looked cool.
He was just walking around the ring, holding him up and teasing, like throwing him out to the floor, and then eventually he's just like, "Oh, I'm not going to do that," and he just tosses him.
Mm-hmm.
And then he sold it like a champ, too. Like, he sold it like his back fucking exploded. I think he tagged Lawler in, and then Godwin tagged out to Savio. And then the heels just worked Savio over for a while. He's like the smallest guy on their team.
Yeah.
And Lawler hits a power driver on him, but he doesn't get a pin because he takes too long. Like, he's kind of gloating and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Then he does it again later. But when he does it this time, Savio no-sold it. I fucking hated that. It's like, no, you can't no-sell the power driver and just jump and tag the Undertaker and collapse. Come on.
Mm.
And then when he gets in the ring, this is fucking funny. Nobody wants to fight him. It's like Lawler tags out immediately. Or he tries to. He like chokes Lawler in the air, like he grabs him and he like just throws him on the ground, and then he tombstones him and pins him. He's eliminated.
Yep.
And then the royal dentist comes in to try to avenge his lord. But he eats a flying clothesline instead, and he gets tombstoned and he gets pinned. He's out. And then Helmsley's up. It's his turn to get in the ring, and then he just tries to get away, but Hogg stops him, threatening to slap him with the bucket. So he runs back to the apron. He jumps back on the apron, so Undertaker grabs him by the throat and choke slams him into the ring, and he pins him.
That's so cool.
It was a great choke slam.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mabel is in, and he attacks him from behind. He belly suplexes him, does a leg drop, and then he starts grooving. He does his own pop lock and shit.
Yeah.
And then
what's with Vince and fat people like dancing like that? You notice that?
It's because he probably hears him listening to rap backstage. They probably got some kind of shitty stereo back there. They're listening to like rap tapes, and he's like, "Oh, that's good, pal." Because Vince used to get invited to cook-offs too, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
Cookouts, I mean, not cook-offs. But, when he's doing that, the Undertaker sits up, and then Mabel's like, "Oh shit!" and he falls out of the ring, and he just runs away and gets counted out. The Dark Side wins because Undertaker beat the entire team.
That's the only exciting part I had in the match was like when Undertaker came in and cleared house. And I think that was, now that I think about it, it was booked in a good way.
It was booked to make him come back and look really strong.
Yeah.
I think Vince wanted to make up for that because he lost him for so long due to his face injury.
I'm changing my score.
That's why I kind of it was entertaining, and like it made Undertaker look fucking awesome.
Mm,
It was like he's got a scary new face mask, and he just looks cooler right now, kind of, and he beat everybody.
yeah.
I
I
gave
had
it
it
a.
at a. Where
What'd
are
you
you
say?
gonna give it?
Oh, I gave it a 7.3.
Oh shit. So I was at a 6.2.
Yeah,
I put it up to a 6.9.
we're not that far apart. I was
Yeah.
more entertained by all the heel antics and them selling Undertaker and shit. Like,
I think I'm just getting tired of Mabel. I don't know.
it could be. They're still probably going to have a match because this isn't the
Yeah.
end. He didn't
Oh,
beat
I know it's not.
Mabel.
Yeah.
He ran away.
Well, let me make this clear. I love, you know, Mabel the wrestler because when he becomes Viscera, I fucking love him when he's like that. I think that's when he's fully understands what his capabilities are. Mabel's still learning, and obviously Undertaker probably taught him a few things after he broke his face. They were like, "Hey, brother, like you need to chill it out a little bit. Let me teach you some things." So hopefully that will change in the future, which I know it will.
He kind of explained on one of his little clips you see of his podcast circulating that he did talk to him. I think after that incident, he's just like, "Look, man, you can't just be like surprising people with some of your moves because you're just too big.
Yeah,
It's
because
like you're gonna hurt somebody."
as a skinny person, you could be like, "Ow, that stings," right? If they
Yeah,
decide to be like, "I'm gonna change it up and do a leg drop on your face," it's different when you have a 560-pound dude like be like, "All right, I'm gonna lay you down. Instead of me doing a splash, I'm gonna fucking leg drop on your face."
because I think he hurts Godwin in the Royal Rumble coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what caused him to actually get let go because he hurt too many people in a row.
Because he's a fat fuck. I mean,
Yeah,
th-
he's just
yeah,
clumsy.
he's a big dude, and like in order for him to do things right, he needs to slow it down. He's trying to like be fast in a way, and what I mean by fast, I mean fast as a fat man. When you're fast as a fat
Yeah,
man, you could see that he's like trying too hard, essentially. But when you're a
yeah.
fat dude, a big dude, you got to slow it down. You got to be like, punch him in the face, put him in the corner. I don't know. If you're Rikishi, stick your ass in their faces, and then like do a belly to belly, and then do a splash.
You got to try to protect your opponent
Mm-hmm.
more because you got all that weight. It's like the same thing where Nia Jax was fucking up all the girls for a
Mm-hmm. Until
while
she hurt a hole.
until she hurt her hole, and then she went away, and then she
We need
came
that
back and
video,
she
by the
was
way.
she was.
That's an intro we get.
I should have
Yeah,
found. Yeah, it's kind of
my
legendary now.
hole. uh,
Oh,
let's see here. Doc is backstage shilling the Undertaker denim jacket that is $59.75. I'm like, God damn, that's cheap. Today it would be like $80, right?
yeah, probably like $90
Mm.
maybe. Did it have like a design on it and shit? Because this must have got cut from the Peacock one too.
Yeah, it was a cool ass design. It had I
I
gotta find it for you.
I can imagine. Yeah, I bet it would look
Mm-hmm.
cool.
Talks about the In Your House show, which will be in Hershey Park Arena, December 17th. And then we see the Karate Fighters blimp fly in the arena. They're like pushing that. Like, I know they did like advertisements, but this is like the noticeable thing where they start like putting like products right into their pay-per-views.
That and they're having commercials where like their guys are like playing with the toys. They've had 3 of them now.
Mm-hmm. I still remember
And
the what was it, Stacker 5, whatever it was called, and
the energy
they had
drink.
like the Sopranos be like, I got a fucking truck full, and it was like Paulie from the Sopranos, and it was like Stacker 2 or whatever.
Yeah, Stacker 2, that's what
Mm-hmm.
it was.
Oh man, the '90s
The JVC Kaboom
Dude,
box.
and the Snickers. Like, Snickers was fucking big. Like, I remember Jim Ross, like, fucking putting over those Snickers.
Skittles, too. His thing was Skittles. He's
Taste the rainbow. Announcers talk about British Bulldog getting a title shot at the December In Your House show. Perfect doesn't care who wins the title tonight, and that he should be the one in the title match because he's Mr. Perfect. Jim Ross believes that Diesel will win.
And Perfect believes Brett will win.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, because they got that history. He respects him as a wrestler. So, you know. We get some pre-recorded comments by Brett and Diesel, too, like earlier tonight. And Brett compared himself to Wayne Gretzky. Does that hold up to you? You're a hockey guy.
Yeah. He's Canadian, and he's breaking records, so I guess it holds up.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm going to find out if I'm the best or not tonight, and he thinks Diesel's going to lose because in the long run he lacks the technical ability. And Diesel says he might be at a disadvantage in the long run, but he's not punching the time clock and get paid by the hour, so he's going to hit high-impact power moves. And WWF's been running on Diesel power this last year quite nicely and efficiently.
I like that. It was a nice touch. He still puts him over, but still kind of wants to fucking beat his ass.
Yeah, I think this tone maybe is what you're talking about. You're wanting from him. He seemed like a little more aggressive this time.
He was too respectable.
Yeah, like, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, if Sean and Brett did that, even at that point in time, before they had all their real life animosity, you know, Sean wouldn't be so friendly.
No.
Yeah. But Petting Zoo is back there with Bulldog and Sid and Cornette and DiBiase. And he's like, hey, I saw you earlier with the other team. What are you doing here to like Cornette? And then Cornette's like, that didn't happen. I don't know what you're talking about. He just like denies it. And DiBiase says he doesn't care about what happens, only if his team wins. And he's like warning Cornette against screwing his guys over again. And they start bickering. And then Sean walks in with Ahmed like in the frame. And he's like, ladies, we don't need to fight amongst ourselves. You can let ladies fight over me if you want, or you can fight my guy Ahmed here, or whatever he says. He threatens to use Ahmed on him or something. Either way, we're going to survive if you don't. And then he just walks out.
I like that. It was cool. That seemed more Sean, in my opinion. Like, when he does the face promos, he acts like he's trying to be too nice. But when he's like here, he's like, I'm going to beat your ass, and we're going to win. Like, I like that cockiness.
See, it's like, it's weird. He's like, I think he's kind of splitting his hairs where he can, so to speak. Where, like, Vince wants Sean to look all fucking sad and look like he's about to cry and giving up the belt and shit because he loves that.
Soon we're going to get the fake seizure, right?
We're going to get the fake concussion. It's very soon. But yeah, I think he picks his spots more in terms of like portraying what he wants to. Anyways, there's no team names for this. It's just Razor Ramon, Dean Douglas, Owen Hart, and Yokozuna with Mr. Fuji versus Shawn Michaels, Ahmed Johnson, Psycho Sid, and British Bulldog with Jim Cornette and Ted DiBiase.
So, Perfect wants to know why Sean is a big deal. Vince Adador goes, because he's all man. And Perfect remains unimpressed.
You see what I'm saying, though, when Vince starts like really wanting to push Sean? It's almost like homoerotic on him. It's weird. I
really fucking wish Perfect didn't go to WCW because I am because remember how like I made a big deal like why is fucking Macho Man on commentating? I want Perfect on commentating. He's hilarious. He's more hilarious than fucking Jerry Lawler, in my opinion.
He's kind. You know what he reminded me of? Like through this night, I was like, he kind of reminds me of Bobby Heenan a little bit. Like he's kind of fitting that role. Because some of the stuff he says reminds me
more
of
lewd. He's more lewd.
He's a lot more lewd than him.
Yeah.
Which fits. That
Mm-hmm.
tracks. Let's see. They have like deliberation for a bit. They're like trying to figure out who's going to start. And it's Sean and Owen. They start. And it's like, okay, this is cool. They should, HBK skins the cat. He does the head scissors to Owen out on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And then he hits a flying crossbody. That's cool. And then Cornette tries to attack him with the racket, but he ducks it. And then Michaels grabs his racket and he hits him in the ass with it.
Yeah, it was funny.
Got a good pop. HBK has it under control until they get back in the ring and Owen hits like a high-speed belly-to-belly suplex. He tags Douglas in and he starts working on Sean. She's just getting heat on him for a while, and then Dean Douglas tries to do a Vader bomb splash for some reason. And I'm sorry, nobody that's under 6'3" should be doing that move. It's just not believable. I don't know.
Can we agree that Dean Douglas is the odd man out in this whole fucking match?
He feels really out of place. Yeah.
Yeah.
He just doesn't feel on these guys' level at all.
The only connection he has is Razor Ramon, which is on his team, and Shawn Michaels, which he was going to face until the Syracuse incident, essentially.
Yeah. It's just you can say whatever about booking and shit. I just think in terms of feel, he doesn't feel like he's on any of these guys. Even Ahmed, who's just starting out, he doesn't feel like he's on his level.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, Sean, after he misses that Vader bomb splash, Sean gets on the top rope and he hits a moonsault for 2. That was cool. Owen breaks the pin up and he's celebrating while HBK tags Ahmed in, who comes in and starts wrecking their shit. He does a scissors kick on Douglas and he does a pump kick on Owen in a big backdrop. And then Yokozuna comes in and stops it, and they just start beating the shit out of him. Then Yoko stays in off of a tag, and the heels are cutting off Ahmed. Even Razor gets in on that a little bit. He gets some cheap shots in the corner, which is interesting.
Yeah.
But he's never been one to shy away from being kind of rough or cheap shotting when which is important because if he acts like too much of a babyface, it kind of kills his character.
Yeah.
He's still the bad guy, Chico. Anyway, HBK gets back in, and Ahmed press slams Sean onto Douglas, which was cool. He gets 2. Douglas rolls out to avoid Sweet Chin Music, and then something happens. We don't really see it, but we see he's getting mad at Razor out on the floor, and he shoves him. So he goes to get back in the ring. Razor pops up on the apron, and he just pops him in the jaw, and there's a roll-up exchange, but Sean manages to take it over, and he pins him. Douglas is out.
He got eliminated by the Click.
He did. The Click eliminated him.
Yep.
And then Owen and Davey get in there, and that's kind of a cool moment because they face off for a minute.
Yeah, the brother-in-law match.
Yeah. They're you want to shake my hand? And he's like, maybe. And then they go to shake their hands and they start punching each other.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome.
It's they didn't trust each other and just started hitting each other.
Mm-hmm.
They go at it for a bit, and then HBK gets in. He hits a flying forearm, and Razor gets tagged in too, and he does a backdrop, but Razor stops, and he hits the Razor's Edge on Sean out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to pin him, but Ahmed breaks it up. And then Razor shoots Sean off, and they collide head first, and they're down for a while. And then Sid's Sean tags Sid. This is funny because his back was turned. He tags Sid. He's like, what? It's he didn't know what was happening. He's like, I guess I'm going to get in the ring now. And he beats down Razor. This is kind of what happened on Monday. It's he's just beating the shit out of Razor for a while.
Yeah. That's why these certain matches, these Survivor Series matches, they're booked based off of what the past was on Raw. And I was like, that's cool.
Yeah, it's that. And they're serving all the angles, their feuds too. It's there's all that interplay.
Because when modern, like I want to say like 2010 to like 16 or 15 or 14, like they did like the old school Survivor series matches, but they didn't book them really well compared to the past. They
No,
were
it
just
was
like
lame.
what if these people were together essentially?
Or they do that dumb brand supremacy shit where it's like
Yeah, Team SmackDown versus fucking Raw and all that stuff.
you got to show what brand's better, and it's like why? What's good about that when you do it? Nothing
And why is
happens
it?
as a result.
And why is there supremacy when every wrestler is on both shows?
Yeah, that too. When they started bleeding into each other's rosters. It's like, who cares?
Mm-hmm.
I hated that.
I always hated bragging rights too because that was like essentially a, like Survivor Series brother pay per view.
Yeah, silly.
Mm-hmm.
Sid's beating him down for a while. Razor tries to fight back. Sid chokeslams him. Sid wants Sean to super kick Razor. He like gets him and holds him up. He's like, hit him. And then Sean's like, okay, brother. And then he tries to super kick him, but Razor ducks and he hits Sid instead. This was really funny because after he does it, Sean's just like looking at him. He's like, well, oh well.
Mm-hmm.
He gets back on the apron. It's like he wasn't really all that broken up about it.
Yeah, because he's a heel, I guess.
Yeah, they haven't been friends for a bit. And Razor tries to pin him, but Bulldog breaks it up. He saves it. And then Razor tries again, and he pins him anyway. That was kind of weird. It's like he's the only one that tried to save Sid, and I guess the baby faces didn't even want to try. They're like, fuck that guy. We don't like him. Sid is out. He's pissed, though. He gets up, and he power bombs Sean, and he just kills him with that.
Yeah.
Razor's hurt. He's trying to recover. He rolls over, pins Sean, but he kicks out because he took too long.
Yeah.
Razor tags Owen, who does a little bit of offense. Then he tags Yokozuna, and he starts beating the fuck out of Sean in the corner. And then Mr. Perfect says, welcome back to Syracuse, Sean, and he starts laughing at him. It's like, damn. And he's like, this continues, though. He's not done roasting Sean. Yoko's beating him down some more, and Vince makes a reference to the Syracuse incident. He's like, 9 thugs beat him down. And then Mr. Perfect says, I heard one guy punched him so hard he was seeing quadruple. I'm like,
he's like shooting on him, essentially.
Kind of is.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that out of him. It makes it hilarious. So, from this point, Ahmed eliminates Owen. He hits the Pearl River Plunge. They call it the Tiger Bomb right now.
Yeah.
Razor gets taken out because the Kid and Sid come back out and they fuck with Razor, and Bulldog's able to power slam him because of that, and he pins him. So it's just Ahmed and Sean with Yokozuna and Bulldog's there too, yeah. So Ahmed slams Yokozuna again. He tries to pin him, but Bulldog breaks it up. He's like, what? And then Ahmed and Sean clothesline him out onto the floor, and then Shawn Michaels super kicks Yoko, and then Ahmed splashes him and pins him. They win.
I really like this one. Like, I like the opening, and then this one. This is my favorite.
Yeah, I like this one a little bit more. I think it was just because the guys were just, bigger stars and shit.
Bigger stars, and they like had good chemistry.
Yeah, they have the better chemistry. They're more experienced, except Ahmed, and you see more of that interplay between them and stuff. There's more because with the lower card guys, there's not really any feuds or angles they've done with each other. They're just lower card guys in a match.
And I love that Dean Douglas got taken out early. That's my favorite part.
Yeah, that made total sense.
Yeah.
I gave this one an 8.
Oh, we're the same. 8.
Nice.
Back at the presidential box, Sonny is on Clinton's lap, which is fucking ironic.
This is amazing. This was the best one.
Yeah. Clinton accidentally spills popcorn on Sonny and offers her a cabinet position as long as he stops by his office. Jim Ross, yeah. What else do you have to say about this part? That's all I have written down.
she's like feeding him popcorn while she's sitting on his lap.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, well, Paisley's like, what's going on here? He's like, well, I'm having a great time watching a great match. And he's like looking down at her cleavage. And then like, yeah, he spills all the popcorn all over her and apologizes and stuff. And then that's when he asks Sonny, he's like, you want to be a member of my cabinet? You want to be a secretary? You need to stop by down there so we can go over. I'll go over all the positions with you.
When did the Monica Lewinsky thing happen?
That was 97.
Oh my God. They prophesized this.
That's why it was so fucking funny to me. I'm
Yeah.
like, this aged fantastically.
Yeah.
It predicted the future.
Oh my God. Jim Ross plugs the Superstar line as Karate Fire's blimp is still showing in the arena. Then see Bigelow and Goldust on the phones backstage. Bigelow having a towel around his neck, looking defeated because he lost to Goldust. And then they do the video package again, hyping Brett versus Diesel, which I got pumped for. I was like, fuck yeah.
Me too.
I still need to get Bret Hart's book. How many books does he have?
I think
Just
he only
one?
read the one, yeah. It's a good read.
I want him to write a whole book about how he hates Goldberg.
Oh my God.
I think he could do it.
I want him to write a whole book about all the shit that he hates. That would be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Is Bret Hart versus Diesel for the WWF World Title in a no DQ match? There's also no.
Why do you think they did that? You think they were protecting Diesel essentially?
I think so, kind of, and just the fact that Diesel's not really been in a big gimmick match, really. Like he had a lumberjack match one time. Who cares? Like it's not a big deal. So I think this was to kind of protect Diesel and also make it maybe add a little pepper to this match because it's like Vince feels like his matches have been lacking, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think mission accomplished in this. I mean, really, the only other good matches Diesel had that we saw was against Shawn at WrestleMania and against Brett at Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Both guys untie a turnbuckle pad and throw it off at the beginning of the match. Like they don't even fight; they just do that. I'm like, okay, 2 Chekhov's guns that are getting set up here.
Mm-hmm.
And then Brett tries to tie Diesel up in the corner and get his leg, but Diesel just starts pummeling him, and it's all Diesel after that for like a while.
Yeah.
Just eating Brett's ass, and he's like selling his ass off. You can hear him when Diesel's like hitting him with like these big clubbing blows. You hear Brett like screaming like he's getting the air driven out of his lungs and shit.
Because Brett knows how to sell. He knows what to do.
Yeah. He gets Brett like out on the floor, and he gets one of the padded chairs and he hits him in the back with it. And I'm like, come on. I know that's probably the only chair he can find really fast, but like, you know, it's kind of sucks for a chair shot.
Mm-hmm.
He gets Brett in the ring and he clotheslines him after having him take a turnbuckle, you know, like chest first. Or it wasn't chest first, it was back. And then the crowd starts booing him at this point. They start booing Diesel.
Yeah, because he's lame.
All the lameness caught up to him.
Yeah. I think the crowd finally just gave up on him, essentially. And plus, like, I guess that's why, because remember we kept on saying, like, why is Brett not in a match in Canada?
Yeah.
And it's just like, if Brett was in a match with Diesel, I think Diesel would start getting booed. And essentially that's what happened.
I think you're right, because I think I don't think that happened at the Royal Rumble, but I think he's had such a bad year, you know, that maybe on some level Vince knew if he put Diesel in there with somebody like Brett or Shawn again, or like maybe even Razor Ramon, he would get booed.
Yeah.
And it's manifesting right here.
Essentially, like, it's a mixture of Vince trying to tell Diesel he needs a smile as a face, and also Kevin Nash doing goofy fucking like promos. So like you have this smiling fucking trucker dude, like being like, "Yeah, man, I'm the face of the company," and then you have Bret Hart who's like badass and how he like talks about how he's gonna like defeat an opponent essentially.
He's real down to earth. He's not real flashy in his promo, but he just tells you what he's gonna do and you believe him.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that's it. That's his thing.
Yeah.
Diesel tries powerbomb him, but Bret blocks it. And he bites him on the arm to get out of it, which is like, okay, Bret starts getting really vicious at this point. He's like biting, clawing, eye raking, and he's cheap shotting. And yeah, it's fair because Diesel hit him with a fucking chair.
Yeah.
And people forget Bret used to be a heel.
Yeah, and also you got to think about these are the seeds that are planting that eventually he's going to get sick and tired of, like essentially getting put in these overbearing matches, essentially.
Getting put in like dumbass positions and shit where like he's getting screwed over or he's tired of people trying to fuck with him and he just starts taking it out on everybody.
Yeah. So these are like the early seeds.
Yeah, it's like you see. That's what I like. Is it kind of feels like it feeds into that a little bit when he gets frustrated and he starts like really trying to hurt people.
Mm-hmm. At least it's not like today. It's like there's a vicious side of Bret Hart. This is like a crazy side. Like remember how like Michael Cole would always be like, "We've never seen this John Cena before," or like Daniel Bryan. It's like
I feel like King. I think it was Lawler. Made allusions to that. It's like people have short memories. They forget Bret Hart used to be like a prick too, like more or less.
Mm-hmm.
He's not so great. But yeah, Bret starts working Diesel's leg, and then he puts him in the figure four for a bit until he's able to get out of it. And then he keeps working the leg. He puts the sharpshooter on. He tries to, but Diesel thumbs him in the eye twice. And he kicks Bret out, and the back of his head hits like one of the exposed turnbuckles. And the way he sells it, I saw it. There was like people in the front row. They were like, especially there was this woman. She's like, "Oh my god," because he like kind of collapsed and he was like holding his head.
Yeah.
Diesel's beating on Bret again, but he manages to slip outside. And he grabs Diesel's leg and pulls him into the post, and he starts throwing his knee across it and shit. And then he grabs like this cable. I guess it was a camera cable or some shit. I don't know. And he starts to tie his ankle up so he can't get up. And then he's able to do like a clothesline, and Diesel's like tethered to the post now because of this cable. So he goes outside and he grabs the chair Diesel used, except he flips it the other way around so the padded side doesn't hit him.
Nice.
Props. He saw that and he was like, "Nope, that's not going to do." Wham. And then he starts hitting him with like the lip of the chair, like on his knee and shit. And he does a backbreaker and he goes to top rope. And he's going to do something with the chair, but then Diesel stands up and he throws him off and he splits his sack on the rope. And he tosses Bret way out, way over into the ring. Then he's able to untie himself finally.
Mm-hmm.
And he chokes Bret with the cord. Like he charges him and Diesel like wraps the cord around his neck and he chokes him out, actually.
And Bret's selling it great again.
Yeah, it's like he just collapsed. And Diesel hits a sidewalk slam. And I gotta give props to Diesel selling too, though, because this whole time he's been like, fuck my knee. Like really selling that.
Mm-hmm.
Even like when he's able to get on offense, he doesn't forget his knee's fucked up. He starts doing this hobble thing. Like he did, you know the move where he runs across the ring and he jumps on the back of your head when you're hanging on the ropes?
Yeah.
He did like a fucked up version of that where he's hobbled all the way across the ring really slowly and did it. I think he throws Bret to the exposed turnbuckle chest first that time. It looks like it killed him.
Yeah.
Then he does the snake eyes. JR calls out. He's like, "Snake eyes." They don't know what that move is, but he does.
Yeah. He's more knowledgeable than fucking Mr. Perfect and Vince.
It also helps. He saw him when he was Vinny Vegas and he did snake eyes.
Yep.
and then tries to turnbuckle crowd see out on the floor. I've never seen him do this. He has like a spinning crossbody thing. Huh?
Who did it? Brett?
Oh, Brett did, yeah.
Yeah.
He did like spinning crossbody, but like Diesel pulled a Samoa Joe and just walked out of the way and he like crashed and burned.
That was great, yeah.
It was pretty funny. I was like, damn, I've never seen Brett do that. And Diesel takes some time to recover, and like at the ring, like he's trying to get distance so he can like recover. And then he's able to get up on the apron on the other side of the ring. And then Diesel just walks over and shoves him hard off the apron, and he goes flying across the floor, and he hits the Spanish announce table and breaks it. And everybody went, oh! And like you could see people like down on the floor, they all crowded around like the barricade area because they've never seen that.
Yeah.
Like on WWF TV, nobody's been through a table up to this point ever.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool. Then Diesel goes out there and he beats Brett down some more, but like he's clearly like dead at this point, it seems like. And Diesel's like, come on, man. And it seems like he's taking pity on him a little bit. So he gets Brett back in the ring. And he gets ready to jackknife him. But Brett like collapses. He can't even stand up for that.
Mm-hmm.
So Diesel picks him up again after he hesitates for a minute because he's like, what is he out? He's like asking Earl Hebner to check him or something. And he's like, oh, fuck it. He tries to do it again. Brett does a small package and pins him. He hooks him like in the you see him. He goes, motherfucker. Punches him.
You there? You froze for a second. Can you hear me? Hello?
Well,
You're freezing up a lot. Come back in and then come back out again. Hello? All right, well, we're waiting. Hello, everybody. I am 3 beers deep. I thought I heard a thing, but he's not in here. Been having a bunch of Stella Artois. Had a long day at work today. How you doing? Mm-hmm. Crazy. But that's how it goes. Let's see what's going on with Zach. I guess we could do a cup of coffee in the big. Are you back? Hello? Hold on a second. Why is it showing blank on your screen? Hello? right, I think you're back now.
Okay. Yeah, my internet's getting kind of squirrely.
It's getting wonky. I started playing Cup of Coffee in the Big Time. Yeah.
Mr. Sarcasm. No. But
I
was,
you cut off by the small package area, by the way.
okay, yeah. So like Diesel was trying to do his jackknife again, Brett Small package and pinned him. That's how you want.
And Brett's the champion.
Right after, motherfucker. And great.
I think you're having more.
What?
I think you're better now. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me? Hello.
Here. Turn off your camera for a second. Well, let's do it from here. Maybe the camera's doing too much stuff. All right, you're back.
Okay, I'm back now.
Yep.
All right. What I was trying to say was, what did you have any thoughts about this one before we get to the score?
No, I actually enjoyed this match because I remember how I was like down on the fucking the promo and stuff. I think essentially this was booked in a way to protect both of them.
Yeah.
So that both of them would come out essentially still strong. Brett would come out as champion, and Diesel would still come out as like, I lost. The way Brett the Hitman Hart had to beat me was with no DQ type of style match.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed this match highly. I think this is Diesel's best match.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure even he says that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm pretty sure he said, "Yeah, the best match I ever had was with Brett at Survivor Series."
Yep.
It's a ongoing pattern.
Yeah, I gave this an 8.3 out of 10.
That's, you know what? That's what I gave it too.
It was so good. I liked everything about it, and Brett and Diesel told the story essentially.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
After that happens, though, like Diesel hits Earl Hebner, and then he hits. Anyway, after the match.
Turn off your camera, by the way. I think your camera is bringing down your internet, by the way.
So knocks all back.
Hello?
This is
It's still acting up. Coming in and out again? Let me see if I can do this. Hold on. Hello?
Nope. I lost connection.
No, you're still here. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
There.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, let's quickly score the show because your internet's acting up, I think.
Yeah, it's giving me problems right now.
Okay, so what'd you give the show?
I gave it a 7.6.
I was close. I gave it a 7.8 out of 10. I thought it was a great show. I think it was one of the best pay-per-views in a long time, especially coming off of In Your House, right? It was a good bounce back.
Yeah, the run in your houses haven't been all that good. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can't remember what we thought about SummerSlam. I think we thought it was all right, but I can't quite remember.
Yeah, it's been a while since we had a good WWF pay-per-view, and I thought this was pretty booked solidly, besides a couple of things that were just kind of, meh. But it wasn't too disappointing, essentially.
Yeah.
But any other final thoughts? Let me see what's next we have. I know we have World War III.
I think it's just Raw, Nitro, and World War III.
Yeah, let me just double check. Let me get the dates for you guys.
I think it's 20th of November for the TV.
Yep. So WCW Nitro and WWF Raw, November 20th. And then it's WCW World War III, which is November 26th of 1995. So remember to watch those and then come back and we will discuss it. What's coming up as far as like modern wrestling? Oh, Mania is coming up soon. It's like
we got like another month to go.
Yeah, it's like a month and a week left on that. Because don't they have like Roadblock, or is that NXT's thing now with Roadblock?
That's NXT's thing now, and they just had it this week.
Okay, cool.
It's already came and went. I was going to try to watch it, but I couldn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, sorry about the, hiccups that we had. Me and Zach are in different states, so that's bound to happen at some point. Because me in Florida with all the storms, and Zach, when they have a storm, their internet goes down. But I don't think you're having a storm, right? It's just bad internet tonight.
No, it's just bad internet, I think. You're just unlucky.
Yeah, and that's bound to happen. So we made it through. It's not like we, did one fucking Raw and acted up throughout the whole thing. It just had 2 hiccups or 3.
We were able to go home.
Yes, we made it home. We kind of did an early 1994 WCW where we just made it through. All right, guys. If you want to catch more, getting some color, make sure you follow us on YouTube on Big Trouble Media. That's where we'll stream. I don't know what day we're gonna. Lately, we've been doing it on Fridays, and I don't know if that's gonna be the thing because I know Zach wants you find a job and stuff that might change at some point. But Fridays has been pretty well to us recently. I don't know.
Any day works for me until I get reemployed.
Yeah.
So,
Someone hire Zach. Make him a manager.
Yeah. I'll do it.
But,
I don't care.
Yep. All right. Well, catch us on YouTube. Big Trouble Little Podcast will be on Tuesdays if anybody's into that stuff. But we're almost near the end of 1995, and I'm getting excited as we get into 1996 soon. But we still got to get through this, and then the award show, which I think the award show is going to be more epic this year, in my opinion.
I've been looking forward to that.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, remember to get some color. We will see you in the next episode. Peace.